and manner restriction. If board members ask questions of the speaker, the time needed to address those questions will not count against the speaker's 3-minute time period. If speakers have any handouts or written copies of verbal comments to provide for the record, please hand them to the enforcement agent in the room.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Pursuant to state open meeting law, matters brought to the board's attention during public comment cannot be acted upon, but we are happy to hear comments from the public as well as my fellow board members during this public comment section of our agenda. So first, let's go to Carson City. Is there anyone in Carson City wishing to make a public comment? If so, please step forward to the podium. Seeing none, we'll then go to Las Vegas here. If there's anyone wishing to make a public comment in the room, please step forward to the podium. Thank you. Seeing none, that will close our public comment section. Which then, Madam Secretary, I believe that brings us to our special agenda item. Please read that into the record.
Special non-restricted item number 1 are the applications of Boomers Sportsbook LLC doing business as Boomers Sportsbook, doing business as Casino Fandango Racebook and Sports Pool, doing business at Casino Fandango for a non-restricted gaming license, Racebook and Sports Pool only, and for licensure to conduct off-track pari-mutuel race and sports wagering. It is also the application of Casino Fandango LLC, doing business as Casino Fandango to receive a percentage of gaming revenue from the Racebook and Sports Pool, including off-track and pari-mutuel race and sports wagering operated by Boomers Sportsbook, doing business as Casino Fandango Racebook and Sports Pool.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Welcome. Please state your name for the record, make appearances. Mr. Asher. Or Mr. Shear. Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm here primarily for support against Scott Shearer, for the record, Brownstein Hyatt, Farber Schreck. Appearing on behalf of Boomers, will turn it over to Mr. Asher for the affirmative presentation.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, Madam Secretary. My name is Joe Asher, and I am the president and CEO of Boomers Sportsbook. With me today in Las Vegas is Gina Cervone, who is our Vice President of Legal and Compliance, whom you met at the July meeting, as well as Dave Grohlman, who is our Senior Vice President of Sportsbook and Customer Support Operations. Scott's in Carson City, as he mentioned, along with Matt Wetzel for Casino Fandango and their counsel, Kelsey Benu. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank you and the board staff, especially Chief Luke Rippey, Deputy Chief Matt Doyle, Supervisor Eric Kaufman, and Senior Agent Ashlyn Burke, not only for the work on our application, but for accommodating our request to have this special meeting. I believe this is the first time I've ever asked for a special meeting. I don't like to ask for special accommodation, and I understand that a number of the board staff had to come in early today, and so it's not a request that was made lightly, but it is appreciated. The unique circumstances that led to our request, I'd like to outline those briefly. Boomers and Casino Fandango have agreed that Boomers will operate a race and sports book at the property, which of course is located in Carson City. Our application was originally scheduled to be on the September agenda. My understanding is that the Casino Fandango now has a month-to-month lease with William Hill, meaning that the agreement can be terminated on 1 month's notice. DC Graham, who is a senior executive at Olympia Gaming, which owns the Fandango, decided that as a professional courtesy, he would give William Hill 2 months advance notice of the Fandango's intent to terminate the lease instead of the required 1 month's notice. After this professional courtesy was extended, and after a couple of phone calls, a senior executive at William Hill sent a notice of termination of the contract to Fandango, with the termination date effective as of August 31st, 1 month from the date of the notice. The import of that, of course, was that the Fandango would have been without a sports book for its customers at the start of the football season, since we were then scheduled for the September agenda. It falls into the category of no good deed goes unpunished. So when Mr. Graham told me about the situation, I spoke with Scott and he came up with the idea of requesting this special meeting. While, as I mentioned, Mr. Wetzel is appearing for the Casino Fandango, I know I speak for them in saying a big thank you to the board for granting our request. If you and the commission approve our application, we plan to open the book on September 1, a few days in advance of the season opener between the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The application itself is straightforward and similar to the applications approved last month for Ellis Island and Casino Valley Verde. There will be a manned sports book as well as 2 kiosks in the location currently occupied by William Hill. The Fandango has just completed a significant renovation that Mr. Wetzel can describe, and we are really excited to enter the Carson City market at such a nice location. The Casino Fandango was one of the early Brandywine sports books back in 2008. In fact, it was approved as the 5th lucky sports book on the August 2008 agenda. So it is fitting that it is now the 4th Boomers sports book, almost exactly 17 years later. I'd also like to spend just a couple of minutes giving you a report on our launch and where we are about 3 weeks into it. We opened smoothly and right on time in Elko on August the 1st and at Ellis Island and Casino Valley Verde on August 4. I'm so proud of our team for getting us open as planned and with our apps in both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store on day 1. We discussed this at the July board meeting, Member Sandal, and I was unsure if the apps would be live on opening day, but they were. We were offering an attractive sign-up offer for mobile customers. We matched a deposit of up to $250 with a corresponding amount of bonus bets. Customers are responding well to it, and I'm happy with the number of accounts and first-time deposits thus far, especially considering that we have just started advertising as football season approaches. Judge Assad, at the July meeting, you asked whether we might offer -105 on some NFL games. You were thinking along the same lines that we were, but we wanted to go a bit further. So on Monday, we announced that we are offering -105 on every NFL game during the regular season. We expect that this will be very attractive to customers and give them a compelling reason to sign up for a Boomers mobile account. As we discussed at last month's board meeting, Mr. Chairman, we know that we have to give people a reason to go to one of our locations to sign up. I think the $250 sign-up offer and -105 on NFL sides give customers 2 reasons to do so. We now have 3 additional applications that are pending with the board, so I look forward to providing another update in the near future. Thank you again for scheduling this special meeting. It is very much appreciated, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Asher. I had a couple of quick questions. Seems like under these circumstances, you had a lot to do very quickly to get ready. Can you give me a sense of what needed to be done at the property to affect this change? And will you be ready for September 1st in full?
Yes, we will, Mr. Chairman. So effectively what will happen on August 31st is currently scheduled. William Hill will close and they'll move their equipment out. We will move our equipment in, and overnight the point of sale terminals and the kiosks will be moved in. One of the kiosks will be in the same location as the current William Hill kiosk. The point of sale terminals on the counter will be at the same place where the current William Hill ones are. So the surveillance will be the same. The machines will all be connected and tested. And then when we're ready to go, we will ask for the surveillance inspection by an agent in the Carson City office. And then we would hope to be ready to start taking bets sort of midday-ish on the 1st.
Thank you for that. Can you give me a little bit more about your thoughts for the sportsbook in the Carson City market, what the prospects are for growth and that sort of thing?
Sure. There are a number of sports books in the market. I think all but one, if I'm not mistaken, currently operated by William Hill. Carson City is an interesting market, obviously, one I'm somewhat familiar with from having been there over the years. Given its the nature of the town is the seat of government, of course, and obviously busier during the legislative session when there's the travel back and forth. There's actually a decent amount of sports travel as well in the area. The Fandango, there's that movie theater complex they have behind it. There's a newly renovated Courtyard Marriott as well. And as I mentioned, the property itself has undergone significant renovation. It looks very different today than it did 5 years ago, let alone 17. But we're happy that we're now able to be into the market, be in there, hopefully anyway, at the start of the football season, and then try to drive visitation to get people to sign up, not only from the immediate Carson City area, but we'd like to try to get some folks from Reno to come over to sign up as well, as we're not yet in the Reno market. So we're going to be marketing towards Reno as well to get people to come to Carson to sign up.
Thank you. That actually was my last question. And I will say, as a New York Giants fan, I took note of your reference to the Eagles. I assume you're an Eagles fan.
Very much so.
And that's unfortunate, but nevertheless, certainly I appreciate your answering questions here today, and I will be happy to support this application.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Judge Assad.
Thank you, Chairman Dreitzer. Who won the Super Bowl last year?
You're going to make me answer that, aren't you?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
The Eagles.
So, no, I have no doubt that Mr. Asher will be very successful in this endeavor, along with Mr. Goett's genius in marketing. And I stay at that property when we have our agenda up there. So that's a great facility between the new restaurant he has there and all the improvements he's making, the Marriott with their renovations. I think that area is going to expand. It'll bring more business to the sports book. You don't need any luck, but I wish you luck all the same, and I'm happy to support your application as well.
Thank you, Judge. I'll take all the luck I can get.
Thank you, Judge. Member Sindall.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. The one thing I just wanted to ask on is your current, in the materials, it stated that you were still hadn't hired yet maybe a full-time manager for the facility. I guess if you just give us an update on management and staffing and where that's at.
Sure. As of now, we have there's the supervisor who's ultimately going to be the person responsible the most, as well as one other person has been hired, and there's interviewing going on as we speak to find a third person, so that we'll be able to have a full staff. Initially, obviously, it's fine opening with the two, and if there's overtime, then so be it.
Understood. And then just on your arrangement with Casino Fandango or the terms, I noticed, are there any renewal terms, or is it, I noticed it was just a 5-year. Is that correct? To the extent you recall.
Yeah, I don't recall if there's an auto renew or not. Member Sindall, there's certainly an economic incentive that aligns us, so that fairly comfortable that when the time comes, we'll be able to agree to an extension. But obviously, that's quite a bit of time into the future.
Right. And I couldn't recall from your previous applications if you're is it just by each location basis on kind of the basis of the terms, or are you kind of just going in with the same kind of mindset or game plan for each of these satellite locations?
The general structure is the same across them all. The specific numbers differ based on the location, our expectations for how we might do in that location, and potentially other factors as well play into it. But the general structure is something that I intend to replicate across all of them, because I think it aligns interests and sets us both up for long-term success.
Great. And then I guess if you could just touch upon your, to the extent you can discuss it, your kind of financial expectations and growth at this location then over the years.
Well, yes, thank you. It takes a while to build up the book of mobile customers, right? Because people sign up over time, and as you get into 1 year on, 2 years on, that roster grows. Obviously, there's some attrition, but you have to make sure that you're adding more than folks who may drop off. So the way I look at it is, we've tried to set this up so that hopefully we're broadly speaking can be around break even initially, and I'm sort of factoring out any sort of corporate allocation of headcount that we're going to have either way, whether we're operating 4 or 8 or 14 locations, and then that turns profitable as you go forward and increasingly profitable. It's hugely dependent on our ability to sign up mobile customers and then to keep and retain those customers. I mean, and we talked about this at our weekly management meeting yesterday. There's just 2 things in this business that are fundamental. We've got to reach agreements with casinos to be able to put a sports book in their property. And then we've got to attract end users, right? We've got to get mobile customers in particular. And it's a very competitive market. It's a mature market. We think the additional competition, of course, is ultimately benefits consumers significantly. And we talked a minute ago about the -105 for all the NFL regular season games. So those are, it's simple enough. Those are the 2 core key goals. Obviously, there's a lot goes into doing those 2 things, but we're super focused on it.
No, I appreciate that. And all the marketing plans and rollout that you have, I think will be great. And I think you have a great opportunity up there, and Casino Fandango is a great property in Carson City area. So I wish you all the best there. And I did want to, there's quite a few conditions that are associated with this. So I don't know if Chairman wanted to discuss those or.
Well, I will say, as to the surveillance condition, I'm prepared to accept the negotiated condition between Mr. Asher and GCB staff. Is that what you referred to?
Yeah, and I just wanted to know that you've reviewed all the conditions, you're aware of all of them. Some of them are similar, obviously, to the previous conditions that were discussed, and we tweaked some of those the previous time you were here regarding manned and unmanned kiosks and whatnot. And then, yes, to the chairman's reference to the language on prior to accepting any wagers, that sort of terminology, and reviewing that. I'm on board with that proposal and happy to support the language of that condition to ensure that you guys can kind of smoothly transition and obtain the license in time and move forward and do the surveillance check, hopefully right as you open on the 1st.
You'll have a busy night.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, and I'd like to thank the board staff, Chair Langsabeth and Chief Langsabeth and Chief Rippey in particular. We just wanted to make sure that there wouldn't be any hiccups, given that the 1st is Labor Day, and the thrust of the condition was to make sure surveillance was done before we were taking bets. So that was what led to the request to modify the condition as originally proposed.
Great. Well, happy to support and wish you best of luck, and thanks.
Thank you. And of course, we're happy to support this. Anytime there's a special agenda, it always takes effort. So we appreciate you recognizing that. And we're happy to do it in support of this application, given these circumstances, and happy to allow you with commission final approval to move forward in September. So with that, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. With that, Madam Secretary will accept the motion. Would either of my colleagues care to offer this motion?
I'd be happy to do that, Chairman, if you'd like.
Please.
Chairman Dreitzer, I move to recommend approval of special non-restricted agenda item number 1 as read into the record by Madam Secretary Rupert, conditioned as follows. Prior to accepting any wagers, the surveillance system must be installed, inspected, and approved by the Nevada Gaming Control Board Enforcement Division and thereafter be maintained at or above the standard that is approved. 2, prior to the commencement of racebook and sports pool and/or pari-mutuel wagering pool operations, an executed reserve agreement must be received and approved by the Nevada Gaming Control Board Tax and License Division pursuant to Nevada Gaming Commission Regulations 5.225 and Regulation 22.040. Third, except as otherwise provided for by the Nevada Gaming Control Board Chair or the Chair's designee, the ticket writers must be employees of Boomer Sportsbook LLC. Fourth, any change in the agreement or the creation of any new agreement between Boomer Sportsbook LLC and any other affiliated company must be reported to the Nevada Gaming Control Board within 30 days of such change. And last, prior administrative approval by the Nevada Gaming Control Board Chair or the Chair's designee is required for Boomer's Sportsbook LLC to convert a location from a kiosk-only operation to a manned satellite operation with or without a kiosk, or from a manned satellite operation with or without a kiosk to a kiosk-only operation. If any licensed location utilizes both a manned satellite operation and a kiosk, prior administrative approval of the Nevada Gaming Control Board Chair or the Chair's designee is required prior to closing for a period in excess of 180 days and reopening thereafter, either the manned satellite operation or the kiosk.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
First of all, go Birds. Member Assad,
Aye.
Member Sandal,
Aye.
Chairman Dreyfus.
Aye. We wish you continued success. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, this brings us to our last agenda item, public comment.
This item is placed on the agenda to give the public an opportunity to comment on gaming-related matters. As stated at the time of the public comment section at the beginning of the meeting, anyone wishing to address the board may do so at this time. Comments by each person are limited to 3 minutes as a reasonable time, place, and manner restriction. If board members ask questions of the speaker, the time needed to address those questions will not count against the speaker's 3-minute time period. If speakers have any handouts or written copies of verbal comms to provide for the record, please hand them to the enforcement agent in the room.
Pursuant to state open meeting law, matters brought to the board's attention during public comment cannot be acted upon, but we are happy to hear comments from the public as well as from my fellow board members during this public comment section of our agenda. First, then, let's go to Carson City. If there's anyone wishing to make a public comment, please step forward to the podium. Seeing none, we'll move to Las Vegas. If anybody here in the room with us today wishes to make a public comment, please step forward to the podium and state and spell your name for the record. Seeing none, that concludes our public comments section. And that concludes the special meeting of the Nevada Gaming Control Board for today, August 21st, 2025. Thank you all for those who attended in person or virtually. We are adjourned.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, August 21st, and this is the time and place for the regularly scheduled Nevada Gaming Commission meeting for the month of August. If you would please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Madam Secretary, has our agenda been posted in accordance with the open meeting law?
Yes, it has.
All right, at this time, I would like to remind anyone coming to the podium to speak, we ask that you speak directly into the microphone and speak clearly as possible, speak as clearly as possible, as this meeting is being transmitted electronically and it is also being transcribed. And I will state for the record, excuse me, Madam Secretary, that Commissioner Mark Antonis is not going to be participating in the meeting today due to a family emergency. So with that being said, if we could please proceed with our first agenda item, public comments.
This item is placed on the agenda to give the public an opportunity to comment on gaming-related matters.
All right, anyone who wishes to address the commission may do so at this time. Matters brought to our attention during public comment cannot be acted upon, but we're happy to hear comments of the public as well as any comments from my fellow commissioners. Comments by all will be limited to 3 minutes as a reasonable time, place, and manner restriction. If any of my fellow commissioners or myself ask any questions of the speaker, the time needed to address those questions will not be held against those time constraints. If you have any handouts or copies of your comments to provide, please do not approach the dais with them. An enforcement agent will come and take them from you. I will first go to Carson City. Is there anyone present in Carson City wishing to make a public comment? If so, please step forward to the podium. It appears there is no one present in Carson City to make public comment. Here in Las Vegas, if you could please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Chair Togliatti. My name is Trey Delap, Treydelap. I'm the Executive Director of the Nevada Council on Problem Gambling. I'm just taking this opportunity in public comment just to introduce myself. I took this role in January and give you kind of a snapshot of what the council is looking at. So my vision is for everyone to know that there's hope for problem gambling and that responsible gambling is problem gambling prevention. And looking at the council for 40 years, it's provided some essential services, but also to achieve that vision, we need to expand our reach. So I'm building the organization to scale. We are investing in rural, frontier, and tribal outreach, and we've opened a small office in collaboration with the Problem Gambling Center in Reno. So we're looking forward to these expanded opportunities. Some of the programs that we are hoping to disseminate everywhere is our SAGA, Student Athlete Gambling Awareness Program. This program is a peer-to-peer program empowering young people to understand the risks and choices that they have with sports gambling. We also have a program for parents called Impact of the Games We Play. This is a awareness for parents and other concerned persons about embedded gambling behavior in certain gaming games. We all also a core issue is to provide essential services, including the Problem Gambler Helpline, which is 1-800-GAMBLER. We are monitoring very closely to ensure there's no disruption in service while the National Council on Problem Gambling and the New Jersey Council have a little bit of a legal dispute about 1-800-GAMBLER. We join industry in making sure that number is available and it's available as an essential service. We also are refreshing our When the Fun Stops program, which is industry focused, and it's we're looking at a new kind of a new look, and in order to meet people where they are. Right now, gambling is transcending the brick and mortar, and people are arriving with gambling problems, having never set foot in a casino, having never bet an actual dollar with virtual currency. So we are looking to outreach with people who are engaging online and hope to work closely with the Gaming Commission and the Control Board and all stakeholders in Nevada. And I remain as a resource for Nevadans on problem gambling information and of course the state. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here and introducing yourself. We appreciate it. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you. Is there anyone else present? Good morning.
Good morning, Ira Giannon for the Culinary Union. Oral arguments are set to begin next month at the DC Circuit Court of Appeals in an appeal involving Red Rock Casino Resort and Spa. We have a copy of the DC Circuit's order on oral arguments to submit today, along with our comments. At stake in appeal is whether a June 2024 decision and order by the National Labor Relations Board was correctly decided. Among other things, the NLRB found that Red Rock Casino Resort and Spa's extensive, coercive, and unlawful misconduct stem from a carefully crafted corporate strategy intentionally designed at every step to interfere with employees' free choice whether or not to select the union as their collective bargaining representative. The NLRB found that most important unfair labor practices here were planned and executed by their respondents and Station Casino's top management and owners for express purpose of interfering with employees' Section 7 rights. In reaching its decision, the NLRB questioned the credibility of testimony provided by Red Rock Casino Resort's Chief Financial Officer and Chief Legal Officer, finding they testified with such an unusual degree of evasiveness and wholly implausible forgetfulness that the judge was fully warranted in discounting their testimony as generally unreliable. If the DC Circuit with the NLRB, then its findings will stand that Red Rock Resorts, Inc., CFO, or CLO were not credible witnesses on the subjects they testified about. As we have urged you before, you should ask yourselves why there should even be a doubt about a Nevada gaming company CFO's and CLO's ability to provide transparent testimony in a government proceeding. We hope you will follow the Red Rock Casino appeal before the DC Circuit. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Mi nombre es Mercedes Cabrera. He trabajado en Green Valley Ranch, trabajo en Green Valley Ranch por 19 años por kitchen worker. Estoy luchando para que mis beneficios estén asegurados y tener un contrato y para que mis compañeros y yo tengamos seguridad laboral. Tenemos más de 11 años luchando. Hace 7 años atrás ganamos nuestra elección sindical y Station Casinos dijo que respetaría nuestros derechos y hasta el día de hoy no hemos visto ese respeto. Gracias.
I'll be translating for Mercedes Cabrera. My name is Mercedes Cabrera. I have worked at Green Valley Ranch for 18 years as a kitchen worker. I am fighting for my benefits to be guaranteed by a contract and for my colleagues and I to have security in our jobs. We have been fighting for more than 11 years. 7 years ago, we won our union election and Station Casinos said that it would respect the workers' decision, and we still have not seen that respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you be leaving a copy of the statement?
Yes, there are issues with our physical copy, so I'll be sending an email instead.
Okay,
That's
thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present who wishes to make public comment? There appearing to be no one else. That will close our public comment section. Madam Secretary, the next item on our agenda is the approval of the prior month's disposition.
Pursuant to NRS 241.035, this item is the consideration of the approval of the Nevada Gaming Commission disposition for July 2025.
Right, we've all had the opportunity to review the disposition. If there are no questions or comments, I believe it's in proper form for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the prior month's disposition.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you. Madam Secretary, if you could please read in the non-restricted consent item.
Your item on the non-restricted consent agenda this morning is item 4. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda. I believe we have a disclosure on this item.
Madam Chair, I do have a disclosure on the consent calendar, item 4. I wish to disclose that Mr. Scherer has previously served as my personal attorney in various matters, but I conclude that the independence of judgment of a reasonable person in my situation would not be materially affected by this relationship. I therefore intend to vote on this consent calendar item, please.
Thank you. All right, if there are no questions or comments on this agenda item, I think it's in proper form for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 4 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and as recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you please read in the restricted consent items?
Your items on the restricted consent agenda this morning are items 3 through 10. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
All right, if there are no questions or comments regarding items 3 through 10 on the restricted consent agenda, then I believe it's in proper form for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of restricted items, restricted consent items 3 to 10 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and as recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you. That brings us to the non-restricted items held out for discussion. Madam Secretary, if you could read in non-restricted number 1, non-restricted number 2, because non-restricted number 1 was removed from the agenda prior to the board meeting.
Non-restricted number 2 is the application of Flutter Entertainment PLC for a continuous or delayed public offering. It is also the applications of Betfair Group Limited, The Sporting Exchange Limited, TSE Holdings Limited, FanDuel Group Parent LLC, and FanDuel Group Inc. to guarantee securities and hypothecate assets in conjunction with a public offering. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Tagliotti, Commissioners, Madam Secretary. For the record, I'm Erica Okerberg. I'm Nevada Gaming Counsel to Flutter Entertainment. Here with me today, I have Mark Irwin and Corey Fox. We're before you today in connection with the company's application for a shelf order. The company has previously received 1 shelf, which would make this its 2nd shelf. There are no immediate plans to use the shelf. They would like to have this on hand for general corporate purposes. And we note for the record that the company meets the requirements of Regulation 16.115. Namely, they have a class of securities on the New York Stock Exchange with shareholder equity well in excess of $10 million, and they have filed all required reports. We have reviewed draft number 1 of the shelf order dated July 16th, and we believe that it is in proper form. With that, what we'd like to do is have Mr. Irwin provide a brief financial update for the commission, and then of course, we would be happy to answer any questions if that's acceptable.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Irwin. We appreciate you being here and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Tagliati, Commissioners, Madam Secretary. My name is Mark Irwin, and I'm Group Director of Finance at Flutter Entertainment. I'm very honored to be here again today. And on August 6th, actually, when we were here last, I provided a broad business update to the board. Since then, the company has released its Q2 earnings. So with your permission, I'd like to share some headline messages from those before taking your questions.
Please.
At a group level, for the second quarter, Flutter Group reported a 25% increase in group adjusted EBITDA, driven by 11% growth in average monthly players and revenue growth of 16% as FanDuel continued to scale rapidly. As we proudly highlighted, FanDuel maintained its #1 position here in the US, both for sportsbook and iGaming. And we also reported the acquisition of Boyd's 5% stake in FanDuel, bringing our ownership to 100%. FanDuel delivered Q2 revenue growth of 17% overall, strongly driven by FanDuel Casino, as our sportsbook delivered continued product innovation, driving increased customer engagement and further structural margin improvement. Outside the US, Flutter International delivered strong revenue and adjusted EBITDA growth of 15% and 13% respectively, which included the benefit of our newly acquired brands in Italy and Brazil. And finally, to highlight again, Flutter's focus on responsible gaming remains at the core of our strategy, which is to protect our customers while supporting sustainable revenue growth. And with that, I'm available to take your questions.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? I read about just what you've described for us. It's very exciting. Commissioner Krolicki had his hand on the button, so I'm going to let him go.
Well, thank you. Sir Irwin, welcome. Thank you for being with us today. The shelf itself, I think, is very simple and for obvious purposes, it's a great tool to have. Did you use the first shelf at any time?
The company did not, Commissioner Krolicki.
That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. Thank you for being here, though.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any questions either. It's fairly straightforward. So thank you again for being here.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And if nobody has any additional questions or comments,
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I thought the questions were just on the shelf.
oh, okay, then
Or is there additional presentation?
No, please. Thank you.
If I might. I'm not sure what is copacetic to discuss in public or not, but certainly there's been some correspondence. There was a public announcement made yesterday, a joint announcement. Ms. Okerberg, could you discuss that in a manner that is acceptable for public ears?
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for your sensitivity to sort of the public forum, Commissioner Krolicki. There was an announcement yesterday that CME Group, which is the manager of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, has entered into a partnership with FanDuel. That partnership is intended to explore and identify business opportunities in the events contract space. There are no definitive decisions at this point of exactly what contracts might be offered, when or where. This is really more an opportunity for the parties to come together with their collective knowledge and to determine what might be a good business opportunity in line with legal and regulatory requirements. I can also note for the record that this partnership has been reviewed by the company's compliance committee, and we have also discussed this with each of the Nevada Gaming Control Board members. And the company is committed that once it has a further decision as to what plans it might want to have and in what jurisdictions, it would then run that through the compliance committee to make sure the committee is comfortable. And then, of course, would come back with the Nevada Gaming Control Board to share that information with them as well.
Thank you. And thank you for that. Again, I don't want to cross the line, but is that an exclusive arrangement for this type of transaction?
So the intent for the relationship is to be a joint venture, and Mr. Fox might be able to opine if it's specifically exclusive.
I don't believe so at this point.
And I think it is public, the conversations you have previously had with Kalshi. Can you discuss the status of those? I know there are some things in the report, but I'd like to hear that.
Certainly. So the company explored and discussed opportunities and tried to understand the market in commodities in some of these newer areas by talking with lots of different people. Kalshi was one of them. There is no transaction or agreement or partnership with Kalshi.
But a future relationship with Kalshi has not been ruled out. It's just not, there's nothing at this time to disclose to us.
There is no intent for that at this time.
So again, I'm walking on a slope here, and I want to be very mindful and courteous. And you all have been a great licensee, but you're moving in the direction of CFTC oversight. And I get that, but I think you understand that we are in a lovely position of litigation, not only as a commission, but personally. I appreciated that, and even new items yesterday became publicly litigated, and we're involved. So, this events market is a very sensitive spot for us. And, it's concerning when you're walking up, to the door here, participating in these prediction markets, when certain activities, if not the predominance of activities, are in conflict with this state and our Gaming Control Act, other states, sports betting in particular. But could you, why should this not concern this commission today? We're approving you to recapitalize potentially if the markets suit you, but what are the types of prediction betting do you envision pursuing?
Sure. Well, thank you for the question, Commissioner Krolik. I might start and then I'll ask Mr. Fox to jump in if I say anything or if he needs to add to make sure that we have a fulsome response for you. So one of the reasons that the company explored and ultimately decided that CME Group would be an appropriate partner is because their longstanding reputation and track record, not only with consumer protection, but also with compliance, following the law, and being transparent with their regulators, which is a series of philosophies that also is very important to both FanDuel and Flutter. So they both are coming at this with the idea in mind that they only want to approach this business in a way that's thoughtful and that is respectful of the regulator's position and at all times in compliance with state and federal and local law. At this time, they haven't made a determination of what event contracts they might offer. Those could range from things like I might consider traditional commodities like gold or things like that. And then, of course, they are looking into and considering whether sports contracts might be something that could be offered in certain jurisdictions in compliance with those local laws. They are very familiar with and have been working with both their internal and their external experts to understand the landscape from both a legal and a regulatory perspective, and are very mindful of the positions that have been taken, including by their regulators, in this litigation. And so at this time, their intent is not to do anything that would jeopardize their licenses in Nevada or other jurisdictions, because those licenses still remain paramount to the company and their primary focus of business. This is really just an opportunity to explore whether these types of business opportunities might be possible for pursuing in a way that is appropriate and in line with the regulators' expectations and the state of the law.
And that's an excellent response. Good on you. I still, at some point in time, the CFTC may be in conflict with the state of Nevada and other gaming jurisdictions. So, and until the courts resolve this today, I would suggest they are in conflict. So to reconcile, complying with federal and state matters, that's not possible today. So, I gently and respectfully remind you, you are licensees here. That's important to us. I think it's important to you. And if there's a decision to be made going forward, if CFTC is saying one thing and you got a green light to do that activity, and the state of Nevada is continuing to be resistant or appealing or whatever we're doing, who do you mind? The CFTC or the state of Nevada regulatory process and the State Gaming Control Act?
Yeah, Commissioner Krolik, I think what's helpful here is that the company would run any decisions they have through their compliance committee. And as you know, the compliance committee is very focused on and attuned to what the Nevada Gaming Control Act requires and what the board and the commission expect from an industry perspective, including all of the foreign gaming requirements. So the compliance committee will be a helpful guide to determine whether they're comfortable with the company pursuing any types of activities. And then, as I mentioned, it would come back before the Nevada Gaming Control Board members for further discussion before launch. So I think that might give the commission some additional comfort that there are some additional steps before this were to go forward.
Okay, and I appreciate that answer. I know this issue was not caused by your actions. I get there's a vast market out there. We're seeing market cap of companies that are participating in the predictive markets in the billions of dollars. Something's out of the barn door already, but there's a much at stake. So I appreciate the exploration, if that's the word we're using. But just for the record, there's profound sensitivity on these activities. We may not like the ultimate outcome in the courts, but until we have that definitively, we're watching, and this is unpleasant for all. My first license in the finance industry was a Series 3, which is a commodities license for, that's the obscure fact of the day. Never, ever did we envision, certainly when I studied for the exams, sports betting was not one of those activities that we had to study for to take the exam. One other question just with Boyd. I know the transaction was closed, but I've seen language here that there's still through 2038, I believe. There's some residual. The agreement extends Flutter's partnership with Boyd through 2038. Could you explain to me what that means?
Sure, Commissioner Kolick, I might start and then Mr. Irwin or Mr. Fox might step in. So the Boyd transaction that has already occurred is the acquisition of the 5% stake that Boyd held in FanDuel Group Parent LLC. The parties still continue to have an ongoing relationship with FanDuel providing services to Boyd, and that is what's going to continue for a period of time.
Okay, and is Boyd in any way I appreciate that, but the fact that there's still a corporate relationship going forward, do the activities in the predictive markets touch Boyd in any way whatsoever?
So this does not involve Boyd in any way.
Thank you for the clarification. I'm sure that's all I have. Again, I appreciate you being in front of us today.
Thank you.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any additional questions or comments? Okay, so I appreciate you being here today and answering the questions. What I think I've heard is we'll run it by compliance and we'll talk to you first before we sue you in federal court.
I
Is that
don't,
what I'm hearing?
I don't think we're
We'll at
going,
least talk about it.
I don't think the company's quite going that far. Mr. Fox can.
We're still exploring what contracts we might offer in what jurisdictions we might offer them, and we're going to be very thoughtful about that. There's absolutely no intention to file suit anywhere with respect.
Well, look, it is what it is. Sometimes people, entities, regulators and licensees can't agree and folks have to do what they have to do. But it is a nice kind of respectful collegial thing for you to do, to come before us and say, hey, we're looking at this, we're going to talk about it, careful, and we'll talk to you first. And then, what happens after that. But I appreciate you being here today and answering those questions. And at this time, if there's nothing further, I would ask if any of my colleagues have a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd move for approval of non-restricted. Sorry. Madam Chair, I move for the approval of non-restricted item 2 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and as recommended by the Nevada Gaming Control Board.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 3.
Non-restricted number 3 is the application of Warner Becker for finding of suitability as an officer at Canby Group PLC. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chair Judge Togliatti, members of the commission, Madam Secretary, for the record, Greg Giordano, with the law firm McDonald Crono, appearing on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Warner Becker, and clearing for an application for a finding of suitability as an officer, CEO of Canby Group PLC. Hopefully he'll be on video here shortly.
I am. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir, we can. Thank you.
First, Chair, we'd like to thank you for allowing Mr. Becker to appear via video. We did have the board meeting earlier in the month, and Mr. Becker provided a brief description of his background and training and what he does at Canby. If you'd like, we can have him do the same thing here today or proceed however you'd like to go.
That would be great. We'd love to meet him and hear from him.
Very good. Mr. Becker, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chairwoman, Commissioners. My name is Werner Becher. I'm the CEO of Canby Group. My career began as software developer, and in 2003, I co-founded a leading Austrian software company. After a successful exit in 2011, I became CEO of Interwetten, a European betting and gaming operator, overseeing the licensed betting operation across Europe for 7 years. In 2019, I moved to New York to help grow Sportradar's US business as managing director. Later, after a successful NASDAQ IPO in 2021, I returned to Europe as CEO for several global regions for Sportradar. And since last year, so 13 months ago, I joined Canby as CEO. Kambi was founded in 2010 and is a leading sports betting supplier, serving over 50 operators in 60+ jurisdictions, including more than 20 states in the US. Kambi services encompass a broad offering from compliance provision and odds compiling through to custom intelligence and risk management, delivered through a sophisticated in-house developed sportsbook platform. Listed on the Nasdaq First No-Screw market, Kambi has a team of more than 1,000 employees with offices in 8 global locations, including our US office in Philadelphia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Again, thank you for being here. I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have any questions or comments for you. Starting with Commissioner Solis-Rainey.
Thank you for being with us, Mr. Becker. It's a pleasure to meet you. You mentioned you have over 1,000 employees. Do you have any of those employees in Nevada? And if so, how many?
Not yet. We have an office in Philadelphia for our SC operations of about 60, 70 employees. And we're still working on commercial plans to enter the Nevada market. Back in my time at Sportrate, I opened an office in Nevada. So this is also an option for us, but we have no detailed plans yet, to be honest.
Okay, so the majority of your employees are outside of the United States.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, Nevada's a great place to do business.
Yes, it
thank
is,
you.
definitely.
Thank you for being with us today. I don't have any other questions.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Commissioner Krolicki?
And I believe it's afternoon. Are you in Vienna today?
I'm in London.
Oh, you're in London today. Well, Mr. Becker, it's a pleasure to meet you, even if it's virtually. Could you describe where you do sit during your days? I know you had a conversation with the Gaming Control Board, but I think you represented that perhaps 10 days, roughly a month, you sit where you're sitting today in London, but you primarily work out of a home in outside of Vienna. I believe it's a suburb of Vienna, but could you discuss that? And if 10 days are in London, where else are you if you're not between there and in Vienna?
Yeah, I'm only on the weekends back in Austria, in Little Vienna with my family. I'm normally all the time in the London office, at least in theory. In reality, in practice, I'm traveling a lot. So I'm normally 2 weeks per month in the London office, and I'm traveling internationally 2 weeks per month.
All right, understand. Thank you for the clarification. Could you talk about, I know there's mention about your sport book product being with GLI and likely working with our technology division. That's the product that'll bring you to Nevada after GLI and the technology folks sign off. Could you describe where you are in that process?
Yeah, we are currently through 55% of the functional testing with GLI, and testing is currently on hold, pending Kambi development of some unexpected new reporting on kiosk requirements. So we will complete this development during September, and once completed, GLI will resume and complete the remaining functional testing. GLI informed us that they think it could take about 4 weeks to complete this. Next step is then the GLA audit stage, which will also take about 4 to 6 weeks. So we think around late November, early December, we will be ready to submit our platform to GCP technology.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Becher, I think you're eminently qualified, and I'm very pleased to support your application today, and I appreciate the answers you've provided.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Sir, this is Jennifer Tagliati. Thank you again for being here. As I'm sure you know, we have a list of your jurisdictions where you are either licensed or pending licensing, and I was just curious, you know, how would you describe your experience with Nevada's investigation and licensing process versus the many others that you have completed and are still pending?
Yeah, so first of all, probably I'd like to express my gratitude to Agent Chad Jackson for his superb professionalism and also his attention to the detail, I would like to add. So for sure, the Nevada license is known around the globe as the gold standard in licensing. So it's a little bit tougher than in other jurisdictions to get licensed, which is very important for a company like Canby with so many licenses around the globe to now also be licensed in Nevada. It's not only interesting state in the US to make business, it's also because of the requirements when it comes to compliance. Very important for us, let's say, to have this stamp to be licensed in Nevada. So it's an honor to be licensed in Nevada for us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that and appreciate the kind words about our investigators. Commissioner Silver, do you have anything?
No, I just wanted to, state that your background is obviously superb. You've been licensed in so many other jurisdictions, so I'm really happy to support your application here today.
Thanks, Commissioner.
At this time, if one of my colleagues has a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 3 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Game Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you, sir. for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Madam Secretary, if you could please read in non-restricted number 5.
Non-restricted number 5 are the applications of Stephanie Sino Miles, Suzanne Knoll, and Noreen Sino for finding of suitability as a co-trustee and or beneficiary as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati.
Good morning.
Members of the Commission, Madam Secretary. For the record, I'm Michael Alonso. I'm here on behalf of the applicants as read into the record by Madam Secretary. Chair, I would like to thank you for allowing us to participate today from Carson City. That was very helpful. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Noreen Sino, who's here at the podium with me on my left. And she's an applicant for finding a suitability as a co-trustee and beneficiary of the Thomas A. Sino 1999 Living Trust 2. It's also my pleasure, excuse me, to reintroduce you to Stephanie Sino Miles, who's standing to my right, and Suzanne Sino Knoll, who's standing to Stephanie's right, who are also applicants to be found suitable as co-trustees of the Thomas A. Sino 1999 Living Trust 2. They were both licensed by the Commission in late 2023. I would also like to introduce Bruce Carrier. He's in the audience and he's the controller for the Sino family and can help answer any questions that the commissioners may have. And with your permission, Chair, I can provide some brief background on the applications before you today.
Yes, thank you.
This is an estate planning related matter. The Thomas A. Sino 1999 Living Trust 2 was created in 2000. It was registered at the time by the board and the commission as a holding company and was licensed to own the equity securities of Peppermill Casinos, Inc. and Wendover Casinos, Inc. The matters before you today are to add Noreen and her daughters as co-trustees and to add Noreen as a beneficiary of the trust. There were additional technical amendments made to the trust, and that was approved by Chair Hendrick administratively in September of 2024, and these applications were submitted in September of 2024. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions the commissioners may have.
Thank you, and good morning to all of you, and thank you for being here today. And we appreciate your appearance. At this time, I'm going to ask my colleagues if anyone has any questions or comments. Commissioner Kulicki.
Thank you, Chair Tagliati. Mr. Alonso and to family members, again, welcome. It's good to see you. My goodness, you have a vast portfolio of business interests. It was hard for me to just read a couple pages. I can only imagine what your daily activities must be. But I really don't have a question. We know all of you, I think, very well. We're comfortable. We've had discussions about this estate planning previously, and I think we applaud the estate planning aspect, and I have absolutely no concerns about the request in front of us today, and I plan to fully support your application when it comes up for a vote.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Silver.
I actually had kind of a question for Chief Caruso, and that is, I remember working on some case with Coyote Springs on the Supreme Court. I honestly can't remember what that dispute was over, and there was some mention about Coyote Springs. I know it did not involve anything with casinos or the estate planning that's going on today, but there was a dispute that we did look at. And so is there any kind of problem, or besides me saying that, is there any kind of problem with me voting on this, being I can't even remember what the dispute was?
I was just going to say, it sounds like you've made a disclosure. You'll have to decide if you think, and it also sounds like you've also decided that it doesn't
Yeah.
have any sort of conflict that would require you to recuse yourself, but
Yeah. And I think that their involvement, they didn't even know the answer to questions with Coyote Springs when the board had asked. So.
I believe the litigation was all about water and water.
No,
access.
there's a different part of the litigation. It was not involving the water rights. There's something else going on, and if I could remember, I guess I should have looked it up, but I really can't even remember, but it had to do with some partnerships. There was investments and money, and I can't remember the whole thing, but it wasn't over water that I was looking at. Anyway, I made the disclosure. It would not affect obviously me at all in this estate planning situation. And my understanding is with the casinos, they have absolutely no involvement in this, in the gaming in these casinos. They're just beneficiaries of a trust, right?
There'd be co-trustees of the trust along
Or
with Tom
trustees.
Sino, and Noreen would be a current beneficiary along with Mr. Sino. But no, they're not involved. They're not officers and directors, and they're not involved in the day-to-day operations.
All right. No, thank you. I don't have any concerns at all then. I'm happy to vote on it and support your application.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask if we have a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 5 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Thank you very much for being on virtual with us today, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Secretary, at this time, could you please read in non-restricted number 6?
Non-restricted number 6 is the application of Boris Itkis for finding of suitability as a trustee at Yuri Itkis Gaming Trust, 1993. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as noted on the agenda.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati, Member Solis Rainey, Member Kurlicki, Judge Silver, and Madam Secretary. I'm Greg Gimignani from the law firm of Dickinson Wright, here representing Boris Itkis in his application for a 2-year approval to be a trustee of the Yuri Itkis Gaming Trust of 1993. The trust owns 100% of the shares of Fortunet, which is a licensed manufacturer, distributor, and mobile gaming systems operator. Boris is the son of Yuri Itkis, who passed away in February. And he's been with the company for 35 years. He's also been licensed before and currently serves as president, secretary, treasurer, CTO, and chairman of Fortunet. The trust itself had Yuri Itkis and his wife Anna Itkis as the trustees. Again, in February, Yuri passed away, and this application is to approve Boris as a trustee alongside his mother, Anna. And Boris is with me if you have any questions.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here today to answer any questions that might be asked. At this time, do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments?
Madam Chair, I didn't have any questions and I have no concerns about the application. Mr. Itkis has been previously licensed and has been, I'm sure, involved in all aspects of operations, but I did want to express my condolences on the loss of your father, and the 2-year limitation, just piles on to making me comfortable with all this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Itkis, again, I'm sorry for the reasons why you're in front of us today. And again, your father would be proud that you've carried all of these things forward. Again, you've been previously licensed, so we know it's been a while. I think it was 2004 and 6, but appreciate the fact that you've gone through this process before. And I just commend the process. And I think this is when Nevada's regulatory process, and we want to accommodate. And so the 2-year limited license, makes sense. Let's just hurry up, get you in the seat. We know who you are. But still things that we need to do. We still need to do the Gaming Control Board thorough exams that we're so gold standard known for. But I appreciate the fact that everyone's worked together to get you in the seat and get this moving forward. But I'm sure you'll have no issues and you'll fully cooperate with the investigation as it proceeds, correct?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice if that's all he had to say today?
I was going to say, they're very concise. I need to take a lesson from that because I am not concise. No, I fully support your application. It's good to see you despite the circumstances, and I wish you the best of luck.
Anything else, Commissioner Silver?
No, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you with the 2-year limitation. So it's very summary, our investigative, but I just would concur with my colleagues and express my condolences as well and wish you best of luck we'll see you again in 2 years. So thank you.
So again, thank you for being here. At this time, I'm going to ask if one of my colleagues has a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of non-restricted item number 6 is read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, commissioners. And we'd like to provide this here just quickly. Thank you.
Okay. And I think you cut out a little bit, so the record should reflect you thank the agent and the supervisor. Thank you. At this time, Madam Secretary, if you could please read in the next agenda item, number 7.
Non-restricted number 7 are the applications of Richard Jacobs for finding of suitability as a beneficiary as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati, members of the commission, Madam Secretary. Sonia Vermees from the law firm Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck. To my right is the applicant, Richard Jacobs. And I believe counsel for Jacobs Entertainment, Stanley Gorham, should be appearing by Zoom.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Good morning, Madam Chairman, members of the commission, Madam Secretary.
Excuse me. Good morning.
If it's all right with you, Chair, I'd like to just give a brief background on Mr. Jacobs and address the area of concern in his investigative report, and then let you ask him any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
Mr. Jacobs is 24 years old, grew up in South Florida. He has secondary education from Xavier University in Ohio, the Maine Maritime Academy, and also Kaiser University in Florida. In June of last year, he moved to Reno so that he could begin management training at the J Resort as a development associate. He's essentially getting training in all of the departments at a resort casino. He's been at the front desk and night auditor, in the laundry, worked with as a guest attendant. And he's now moved over to the sales division where he's learning about convention booking and banquets. He hasn't had any training in gaming operations yet, but he is registered as a gaming employee. In addition to what he's doing there at the J Resort, since 2021, he's also served as a board member of the Jacobs Family Foundation for Children, Inc. He was found suitable by the Louisiana Gaming Control Board in 2019, but this is his first application in Nevada and his first appearance before the commission. Mr. Jacobs had a relatively unremarkable investigation. He's very young. His background is very short, very clean. He was cooperative and his responses were timely. But there was an area of concern that came up during his investigation. During his freshman year of college, he began gaming in offshore online gaming. The offshore sites were marketed to all of the college students on their social media accounts, and he was not aware that it was unlawful to game on those sites. He continued to wager through the beginning of this year when it was explained to him that those sites are not licensed. He immediately stopped and he hasn't done it since. He was doing it on his own account. He wasn't getting any perks or benefits from the sites. He wasn't soliciting others to bet. He didn't profit from this activity. Mr. Jacobs understands that a gaming license is a privilege and that he's expected to have good character and to conduct himself with honesty and integrity. He made a mistake about the legality of offshore gaming, but he otherwise satisfies the standards for suitability found in NRS 463.170. We ask that you please follow the recommendation of the board and approve his application.
Thank you. My colleagues, Commissioner Silver.
Leonie, I do have some questions. So what is your date of birth, your actual date of birth? Because you're 24 right now, right?
Yes, that's correct. My date of birth is December 6th, 2000.
So it looks like you've been, with the area of concern, you have been engaged with this offshore gaming since July of 2020, which you would have been 19, you said your freshman year. I'm also concerned because you were 19 and 20 for at least 2 years. You were not only illegally gaming, but you were underage gaming as well. You were underage at the time, correct?
Right, that would be correct.
And I mean, your family owns casinos all over, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Here in the United States.
Yes.
And you certainly had to have known that you have to be 21 to game at all legally, even in the United States.
I had never worked in the hotel casino industry before, so I had no
You had
prior
no
knowledge.
idea with your family and gaming that it's illegal to engage in gaming under 21.
As soon as I started working in the hotel and casino industry, that's when it was brought to my attention.
So I'm asking you again, you're telling me you did not know that being 19 and 20 here in the United States, you are not allowed to engage in gaming.
No, I did not know that.
You had no idea.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
These sites are all international, Commissioner Silver, and I would guess that Mr. Jacobs knew it's illegal to gamble in the United States at casinos. It's very clear. The signs are everywhere. But with respect to these offshore sites, I don't know that anything on the sites would suggest that they're illegal.
Well, his family's involved in gaming. I mean,
They are,
you're a big family. I'm sorry. I find it really hard to believe that he had no idea that this, it being 19 and 20, that he could engage in gaming, whether it be here, you know, walking into a casino in Nevada versus getting on and doing it on his phone. I just find that hard to believe.
Commissioner Solis Rainey?
Thank you for being here. Oops, I turned it off instead of on. Thank you for being here, Mr. Jacobs. Tell me a little bit about this management program that you're doing. What's been your favorite position so far?
I love dealing with the guests. So my first 2 months out there, I really enjoyed because I was hands-on. And I was able to learn how the different departments in the hotel interact with each other from a day-to-day basis. So even though I was getting my hands dirty, I did enjoy laundry. I did enjoy housekeeping. I did enjoy front desk. I'd say front desk was the role that I've enjoyed most at my time at the jail.
Okay. Well, it's really important that you've touched the other parts of the house and see how hard the employees in those departments work. I think it gives you a different sense of understanding, you know, what their day-to-day is like, and maybe more of an appreciation for their work as you move up into management. From what I could see, you've attended a number of universities, have not finished your degree. So I just wanted to pile on to Commissioner or Member Sendall's recommendation. I mean, it's definitely something that's not going to hurt you. You know, obviously college isn't for everybody and it's not necessary. for all the positions, but you're probably pretty close. So, take advantage of the fact that you're near a good university to do that. Also take advantage of learning during this period of time that you have. You have access to people in different levels that can support you and help you learn. I have two sons that are close in age to you, and I saw how heavily the online gaming was targeted, they were targeted by different online gaming at their different universities. So I understand your position and I accept your explanation of that. I will also add that, just for the record, that, added to the confusion, my kids grew up around gaming also, and I don't know that they would necessarily know. And they were telling me about some casino near the university in South Bend that you had to only be 18. And I'm like, what? And I guess some of the tribal casinos, you only need to be 18, but I didn't know that. And I was surprised. But when I questioned them, because they went like, hey, you have to be 21. They're like, is that everywhere? So anyways, it happens. I can understand how it happened, but obviously you know better now, and you're in the industry and you have to be careful to keep a clean nose from this point forward. So I don't have any other questions. I'm satisfied with your application and I'm happy to support it.
Ms.
Commissioner
Vermees, pleasure always to see you, Mr. Jacobs. 24 years old. Boy, I wish I was 24 years old again. Good on you. But again, that does beg the question. I'm not trying to pile on or just, rub it in, but, when I was young and reckless, I was young and reckless. I don't know who said that, but I'll repeat it. I understand how these things happen. I have kids in their 20s who have all been exposed to these things. But I guess the point here is, well, did you understand the gambling you were doing was offshore? Or did you know where that site was?
I was, at the time I was gambling, I didn't really put much thought into where the websites originated from.
Okay. Well, again, I know you're looking to be approved as a beneficiary today, but as you've heard in previous applications and what we're doing today, license is a privilege. You have to do it better than everybody else you know. And I suspect you probably still have friends who go to these same sites and gamble. I would encourage you to tell them to stop doing it. It's illegal. It's wrong. And it's actually very dangerous. They don't have gambling, problem programs. And I mean, there are lots of things can, turn out sour in those relationships. So you can do a service to your friends who might still be doing that, but it's a privilege and you got to do it better than everyone else. Is it fair? No, but that's the way it is. And so we watch these things and, it's, you should have known. You should have known. You're in the development program. I'm going to ask a question that I'm surprised Judge Assad didn't ask during the Gaming Control Board meeting, the steakhouse, his favorite thing ever, which I have enjoyed. Judge, you should go there. Is that owned by the hotel or is it leased out, or will you be cross-training in the steakhouse?
I haven't worked. I have prior experience in the food and beverage industry. I've worked quite a few different jobs in restaurants and different bars. So I didn't see the use because I wasn't exposed to the other departments at the hotel. That's why I haven't worked at J. Paul's yet, but I go there quite a bit with the groups that I book, and it's a great room and the food's great.
Well, if I were you, I'd take advantage of cross training at J. Paul's. That's a good spot. Golf. Again, I wish I were 24 and learning golf correctly. So golf management program, is that like running a course, or what is that? What's the scope of that degree?
It's mainly like working in the pro shop, working as a golf course manager, setting up events, setting up handicap systems. There's a lot that goes into it. You also learn the history of golf in the beginning of the.
What's your favorite course to play in Reno?
That's a tough question.
If that's the toughest one you've had today.
No, I'd say we have a corporate membership at Somerset, so I think I'm obligated to say Somerset.
All right, good answer. All right, well, I'm going to support your application, but Judge Silver's point was spot on. You should have known. But, we'll move on. We've learned a lesson. I'm sure you'll share this information with all of your former classmates and others who might still be engaged in, these activities. It's wrong and dangerous. But I will support your application today. And, you have an incredible opportunity before you. I suspect we'll see you for other applications and things in the future. It'll be fun to watch. But again, you got to do everything perfectly, and we're watching. But what an exciting opportunity that you have with your family and others to be in such a nice space in the gaming industry in Nevada and in northern Nevada, which, I'm a northern Nevada kind of guy. So I appreciate your role, but I will support your application today.
Thank you.
Commissioner Silver?
Thanks. It's not that I wouldn't support your application. I'm just concerned because of the area of concern, and I appreciate that you have been doing well lately. You've been showing everyone, including us, that you are deserving of moving forward in your career in gaming, perhaps in the hospitality industry. You're taking all these steps to better yourself, and these are all positive things. But when it comes to licensing, I guess it gives me pause to some extent when you were illegally, involved in gaming for 5 years before somebody woke you up during the application process. I mean, 5 years is a long time, both underage and illegal gaming, and then you come and ask for a license. So the only thing I would comment on is that, to me, I would like him to prove he deserves this license as well with a 2-year limitation. I don't have any problem supporting him because he is showing that he is becoming worthy, perhaps, of moving forward in his family's business. But also in this investigation, I saw a lot of things where you'd start something and you didn't finish it. And I would just like to see you complete, come in here in 2 years and just show us how well you have done since today. And that's my only comment. I'm just more hesitant to give it without a 2-year limitation.
Any other comments or questions? There being none, I have none. Nothing additional to add to, sorry, hitting the mic, to anything that anybody has said. So I guess the question would be, do you have a motion then in light of what you just said?
I'll have a motion. I would, Madam Chair, I would, let me get the right words. I'd move for the approval of item number 7, non-restricted 7, as read into the record by Madam Secretary, and as recommended by the Gaming Control Board. But I would just add an additional condition that it'd be a 2-year limited license.
Discussion on the motion.
I don't know that a 2-year limitation would do anything in this instance. And I say that only because this is an application for finding him suitable as a beneficiary. I mean, if at such time as he later advances in his career and moves into a different position, he would come forward for licensing in that position. And, we'll actually see how he's doing. I mean, this is just, as I understand it, Ms. Vermes, this is just as a beneficiary, so he can.
That's correct. He does not have an officer
Because he's over
position
21,
or
he
anything
has
like
to-
that.
Okay.
Right. He had to come forward due to his beneficiary position in these trusts.
And what's the effect? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like if he were not approved, what would be the effect of him not being licensed as a beneficiary? They would just have to restructure the trust?
Or I think that, and Stan, you might be able to speak to this better, but what I suspect is that he's not able to get any distributions from the trust.
That's exactly right. The immediate effect is no distributions. But I think, as my colleague has pointed out, this is just the purpose of being a beneficiary. As Richard, and I have no doubt he will, moves up in the organization and reaches other levels, he'll have to come before you again in order to be licensed in those other positions.
And I asked that, Mr. Mace, mostly for my own education. I've never seen, a beneficiary application where there was, that much scrutiny on this type of mistake. But if I'm happy to support the application, I would lean towards not having any kind of limitation on it for this purpose.
We appreciate that.
And Chair Tagliati, if I might. Mr. Gorm, thank you for your input. Mr. Jacobs, we're not here to punish you. We're just have a job that's privileged license. That's a big red flag. What you did, you were young, you didn't know, but still a red flag. So I appreciate Commissioner Silver's point of the 2 years. But I think in my comments, this is about being a beneficiary, not an officer or another, gaming role. And I anticipate, I hope to see you here regularly. So I think the process and your evolution, in the gaming industry or not, if we see in 2 years, that means you've done it well. And you'll be looking to take on additional responsibilities that truly touch gaming rather than just receiving the benefits thereof. So while if Judge Silver, if this were an application for anything different than the beneficiary, I'm fully supportive of what you said, but I think this will cure itself just in the process and what, he will be asking, or if he doesn't, just theory, sorry to say this, but if you don't succeed or you don't have an interest and you don't continue along the gaming track, we won't see you again. But again, it just reverts back to the beneficiary, and this is your family, and this is the family business. And again, good on you. And I don't wish to injure you in any way by leaving this alone or to bring you back in 2 years when you may not be involved in the industry. So that would be my point. So I'm sympathetic, but I think it may not be necessary to put the 2-year condition on it.
The only thing I would say is I certainly understand what a beneficiary of a trust is. Okay, but why do we even have an investigation? And our investigators have an area of concern. What is the point of investigating? Let's just license every beneficiary then if they're going to offshore game and they're going to underage gamble. So that would be my point on the 2-year.
Well, because Commissioner Marcantonis isn't here, it would be an interesting outcome to be 2-2. Because on one hand, I understand the distinction. I don't know that I can say, oh, this is more, there's no history of this rigorous treatment for a beneficiary. I've been here 4 years and however many months, so I can't speak to what was here, but what happened before I was here. But this is the first time we've had in my time this kind of issue. We're certainly not talking about a denial. There is nothing that's going to happen today, it doesn't sound like, where he's not getting his distributions. The question would be, should there be some, I don't know, ramification, some message to others and to you that this was not a nothing burger for us? And that's kind of where I lean towards Commissioner Silver's position, but I really don't want to have a tie because that
Madam Chair,
so
Madam Chair, I will.
I don't want to make him come back. I want him to go off, do very well in life, get his distributions. And, maybe if you ever come before us for a gaming license, this will be a faint memory and you will be the most successful family member ever and nothing would make me happier. Although I will say this, I seriously question the love of laundry. When you said that, I'm like, okay, wow.
I don't mind laundry. That's
I
one
know.
of the few chores.
How many 20-somethings love laundry? But I know what you mean. I mean, it's you're doing all the right things, and this isn't about a denial in any way, shape, or form. But it's more about kind of the 30,000-foot view for everybody, right? And similarly situated people that come in here that have something. and what kind of message we're sending. It's not about you personally, right? I believe me, I have no question that if you could turn back the hands of time after going through all of this, you would have never engaged in that. And I can't imagine you did know there was anything wrong with it and just kept doing it for 5 years. Like, I just don't think that. But it's not just about you, right? And so that's why this is such an interesting and spirited discussion, is because if it were just about you, I think we wouldn't even be, we would be done with your matter by now and you'd be off going to work. Not in the laundry, but I applaud you for, you really are working your way around, and that's someday the things that regulators love to see. I cut you off or didn't let you.
No, I interrupted you,
Okay.
but my most recent remarks were not only to you, Mr. Jacobs, but also to Commissioner Silver, just to see how you would respond after hearing some comments. You remain in your original position, and I respect that, and that's important to me. So I get that, a ramification or a string on your past deeds is appropriate. And if that motion is going to be the motion made, I will support the motion.
Any further discussion?
May I, Chandani Sandal, board member, for the record, I did want to just make clear, from my understanding from the report and review from investigations, that the websites were 18 and plus is how they were put out there, if that makes any difference at all. But I did want you to just be aware of that they were promoted that way, and that was the understanding of the agents, that they were websites aimed at and advertised to individuals 18 years and older. So that's all.
Also, if I may speak for myself, I'm not in any way excusing my behavior. I made a tremendous mistake, and the past 6 months of my record and my bank accounts have shown that, I've understood the mistake, and I'm never going to repeat the mistake. But I hear there's some questioning whether, I'm being honest in regards to the legality of the websites. Given that there's brick and mortars in the United States that operate 18 and plus, it wasn't even a second thought in my mind, because it's not, there are 18-year-olds gambling in the United States legally. That's all I have to say.
I'd also like to add, if I understand the commission's position that we want to make sure that we set the right example. And I just think there's a difference between a college kid that is gambling on these sites that have been promoted to him for 18 and over versus somebody that's actually in the industry, somebody that is actually working at a casino and should have had training. If that's the individual that's doing the offshore gaming, there's a distinction. And I think you do have to look not only at the globalness of it and who's engaging in it, but you do have to look at the individual circumstances. And we have someone that was very young and that otherwise has a perfectly clean background.
Any other discussion or comments? Okay.
I don't want to just keep focusing on these things, but it isn't fair. I had a job for the state of Nevada for a long time where my kids were subject to things and phone cameras and all of those things where they knew that they couldn't partake in what everyone else is doing because it would be amplified. It could be in a newspaper. It could be, they just had to do it better. And with your family background and what you did and for the length of time. So, I wasn't focused on the underage, and I appreciate it, but it was illegal gambling, illegal sites. So I, because of the context I've had in my family, I will impose it on yours. That's why I would support the motion today. Because I do think there's an important message here. Sorry that it seems to single you out, but this, as Chair said, this is an opportunity for you to shine. Do a marvelous job in the next couple of years. I can't wait to see you again. Can't wait to see the next application if that is indeed your journey. But I think it's the right message to send. There's no harm to you today. You'll receive all the things that you want, but there's still a string between you and this gaming commission for the next 2 years, right?
Understood.
All right. If there's no other questions, comments, or discussion, at this time, Commissioner Silver has made a motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed?
Nay.
All right. So, so you are licensed. There'll be a, potential follow-up. And any other license you might want to get soon and for the rest of your life. We appreciate you being here and your understanding that it isn't all about you. It's not about, some kind of negative statement on you. It's a big picture kind of situation, and you're licensed.
And just for the record, I just want to make clear that I voted nay, not because I feel that the applicant is unsuitable. I think he's demonstrated his suitability as a beneficiary. I think the limitation in this is unnecessary. And it's treading, in my mind, new ground from the almost, it's a little over 6 years experience on the commission. And that was just the reason for my vote. So I didn't want it to suggest any kind. I didn't want it to suggest any negativity on behalf of the applicant, because I do feel he's demonstrated his suitability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, please read in non-restricted number 8.
Non-restricted number 8 are the applications of Sean Wilkins for finding of suitability and/or licensure as an officer, director, and/or key employee as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good morning, Chair Tagliati, members of the Nevada Gaming Commission, Judge Assad, Member Sindall, Madam Secretary. For the record, I'm Kimberly Maxon Rushton, appearing on behalf of Evoke. Joining me today is the applicant and Chief Financial Officer of Evoke, Mr. Sean Wilkins. He's appearing from Istanbul. And also appearing today from London is Mr. Wilkins' lead counsel, Ms. Amanda Usher from Woods and Were. Chair Tagliati, thank you for the accommodation of allowing them to appear virtually. If we can just confirm that they're on.
Hi, I'm here.
Good morning, I'm here as well.
There we go. Sorry, we couldn't see you. So, all right, thank you.
As the commission materials reflect, earlier this month, Mr. Wilkins did appear before the Gaming Control Board, at which time he and Ms. Usher did a presentation of his application, background of his professional and personal, background, and answered questions of the board. At this time, what I'd like to do with your permission, Chair Tagliati, is turn it over to Ms. Usher to do an introduction of the application. And then, consistent with the board meeting, Mr. Wilkins would be happy to answer any questions he has, again, about his personal background and his role as the Chief Financial Officer of Evoke.
Ms. Usher, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Togliatti, Member Solis Rainey, Member Krilicki, and Member Silver. My name is Amanda Usher, and I'm a partner at Woods Were. Firstly, I would like to thank Chair Togliatti again for allowing us to both appear remotely. We're very grateful. And secondly, I would like to introduce Sean Wilkins, who is the subject of this application. Mr. Wilkins is the Chief Financial Officer, Interim Head of US, and an Executive Director of Evoke PLC. In September 2023, it was announced that Mr. Wilkins would be joining Evoke, and he was officially appointed on the 1st of February 2024. As CFO, Mr. Wilkins is responsible for all financial reporting, control, planning, and strategy for the business. He has 12 direct reports in his team and himself reports directly to Per Widerström, the CEO of Evoke, who appeared in front of the Commission in December last year. As the interim head of the US, Mr. Wilkins leads the group's business agenda and strategy for US regulated markets, including defining and executing short and long-term strategy, identifying, pursuing, and securing strategic business opportunities and partnerships, building and maintaining existing strategic partnerships, managing and overseeing business development and operations. Prior to joining Evoke, Mr. Wilkins was the Group CFO for Superbet, a global sports betting and gaming company with operations in a number of jurisdictions worldwide. Outside of the gaming industry, Mr. Wilkins has also been the Group CFO for Big Bus Tours and Domino's Pizza Group in the UK. I would like to briefly take this opportunity to thank again Senior Agent Robertson and Supervisor Doyle for their diligence and collaboration, particularly over the last few months. And with that introduction, I will hand you over to Mr. Wilkins to speak a bit more about himself and to answer any questions which you might have. However, I remain on hand to assist if needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilkins?
Hi, hello. Look, thanks once again for letting me appear remotely. I apologize for my background and any background noise that you can hear. It's 9:15 p.m. In Istanbul. So I'm at a restaurant with my family. I'm very happy to answer any questions. I guess probably the most relevant part about my background is that I've been CFO now of various different companies for 20 years, including, as Amanda said, Domino's Pizza, Big Bus, which I think is well known to you, and more recently Superbet and Evoke, both of which are global gaming companies. But very happy to answer any questions. So let me pause there.
Thank you. At this time, do you have anything else?
I would just note for the commission's attention that Mr. Wilkins did appear in April of this year. There was in support of Evoke's shelf application and provided some financial background about the company and is happy to give you an update on that if you'd like.
Would you like an update on the commission, or should I just open it up for any questions? I think we're fine with questions. Thank you. Questions or comments, I guess I should say. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I do. Mr. Wilkins, thank you for being with us. I have to say, I'm a little bit insulted that you're calling from a restaurant. This is a serious matter for you, and for you to not make set time aside to be in a quiet professional space to have this discussion with us is concerning to me. I also wanted to just find out what your involvement is with the compliance committee.
With the compliance committee in Evoke?
And compliance matters. What's your role generally with compliance?
So we have a compliance and risk chief officer who I think also appeared before you, called Harinder Gill. He's my peer, and I attend all of the key compliance meetings with him and give my opinion and make sure that my opinion's heard in all of those compliance meetings. So yeah, I'm centrally involved in compliance.
Are compliance issues reported to you? Is there any kind of direct or indirect reporting to you on compliance matters?
No, so all compliance matters report up through Harinder, but Harinder's my peer, and on all committees I'm a full-time member. So the Nevada Compliance Committee, I'm a member as well.
Okay. Just in my experience, both personally and, here on the commission, generally the CFO is intimately involved in compliance matters. And with respect to the matter that was, addressed, I'll try to be sensitive to the fact that, it's not, it's at this point, it may be more administrative, but the concern that I expressed, Ms. Maxton Rush, about him maybe not taking this process seriously is the same concern that I have with respect to the compliance audit. I mean, this is an important matter. A lot of the documents that were requested I thought would be things that would fall under this person's bailiwick. So I thought it was very relevant to address those issues with this applicant. I'm very surprised, both frankly, by your response to some of the things, to, just the treatment of the audit. I mean, generally audits are not a negotiation in terms of, who the auditors get to speak to or not speak to. And I just, I'm disappointed.
And I can address that, Commissioner. Specifically, as noted, there is an ongoing compliance audit. And initially, there were some concerns relative to timing and responsiveness. It had to do mostly with the fact that this is an international company and the way that they're situated was not conducive to what I think the agents generally see. And so there was a back and forth between Evoke and the agents relative to the timing of matters. That has since been addressed. They certainly understand the importance of that, not only with respect to compliance as a whole, but also the responsiveness and professionalism to the board. And as I hope your materials indicate, since the time of the board meeting, that has been remedied. It's been specifically addressed. And I do have a note from Supervising Agent Crowley about the fact that he was impressed with the way that the meetings went in London last week and earlier this week, and that he was supportive of the company and their commitment to compliance.
We do have that information. And I guess my take on reading all of the materials, including those you provided, so I wasn't looking just at the board side of it or your side of it, but it seemed to be the opposite. It seemed to be that the company did not understand that, the board doesn't operate at their convenience.
Yes.
They chose to come into Nevada, be licensed in Nevada, do business in Nevada. That means that they make themselves available to the Gaming Control Board, who is more than reasonable, and they were more than reasonable in this instance.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think anybody would appreciate canceling international and cross-country flights on less than 24 hours notice. And for, even, your response to them surprised me a bit, because I think you understand that you're a wonderful lawyer. And I think, you understand the regulatory limitations. And frankly, I think the board was overly accommodating to what the company needed. And if there's people that they want to speak to that they weren't able to speak with, I think that needs to be made, those people need to be made available to them.
And to your point, that is certainly well taken, and they did do that. The initial cancellation was due to the fact that simply that they could not coordinate that many people to appear in London at one point. And there was a back and forth dialogue, as I indicated, that was remedied. They have now been conducted all of the interviews, including those of the top compliance individuals, with no areas of concern being developed. So again, I understand what the board's concerns were. The company did acknowledge that during the board meeting, and we've since made sure that there is a complete understanding of the importance of timing and responsiveness to any agent request. And going forward, that will not happen.
Okay, and respectfully, the reasons that were given to us for the cancellation by, in your materials were different than that. They seem to be because of the company's convenience.
It was, as I noted, it was simply because of the fact that there was a request to have a number of people present at one location at a specific time. Those individuals don't work in the London office. They work all throughout Europe. So it was a timing in terms of trying to get them coordinated so that they could be there to accommodate the agents, and they simply could not. And yes, we acknowledge that it was a late notice to the board, and more than appreciate the fact that the agents were willing to accommodate their schedule and rescheduled the interviews, in which time they did, and those have now been completed.
And again, I'm trying to be very respectful to the sensitivity of you not wanting the details disclosed, but you providing different explanations now is not helping that matter, because we were giving specific reasons why the audit plans were canceled on the eve of travel. And there's 5 listed, and most of them did not have to do with being able to have these people together in London. At that point, the materials that the audit team had requested had not even been provided in full. And the other reasons, again, were for the company's convenience, not because of logistics. So, I mean, I do appreciate that since then, the audit was successfully completed. I believe the field work was completed last week. I don't know if that was with or without some of the limitations that the board gave in terms of people. But I do think, for instance, with the head of internal audit, if they didn't speak to him, I would like to see them speak to him.
They did. Yes, ma'am.
But, those are just calls that the licensee doesn't get to make for the board.
Correct.
So,
and the head of audit did appear in Nevada in early June for a meeting, an in-person meeting, and then the head of US compliance was interviewed on Monday of this week.
Is that the head of audit that was no longer in that position, Mr. Charlton?
No,
Okay, that's the one that I think
Oh,
if they did not speak to them, I think they should be able to speak to him.
certainly.
Because, you know, there's importance, especially in audit settings, especially when the top level person in that position is no longer that position, but is still with the company, even if they weren't still with the company. I think that there's valuable information that the auditors could obtain from them. And in no way should the company be restricting access to those type of individuals.
I
So,
understand.
again, I mean, this generally, the background for Mr. Wilkins, you have a great background. Again, I don't have any problems with the experience. I think he has some good experience, good education. But again, I don't know that he has the sense of appreciation for this process. And he hasn't shown the respect that I think it deserves. And I'll leave it at that.
Commissioner Silver or Kralik?
Thank you, Chair Tagliani. Mr. Wilkins, good evening to you in Istanbul. Appreciate you being with us this evening. Your time, you have a stellar background. You know, I was amused to see the Domino's Pizza. I've spent a lot of money with that company, especially in my collegiate years that we're discussing Mr. Jacobs before. But you know, I too am mindful. I think Commissioner Solis Rainey has laid out a very descriptive history or template of the interactions between the Gaming Control Board and the company, Evoke. Compliance and dealing with the Gaming Control Board, if you're a Nevada licensee, you know, those are obligations. But I think, you know, perhaps what we're discussing now is more about the attitude towards compliance in relationships and working with the Gaming Control Board. The correspondence that we received subsequent to the Gaming Control Board meeting by our agents put my mind, I don't want to say at ease, but it was important to have received that update. So I appreciate the Gaming Control Board folks for making sure that information was there, and how strong and welcoming the attitude has been in the last few weeks. But, you know, late filings, some of the other items that we've seen, I mean, they just can't happen. You know, we've just told a 24-year-old young man that, you know, you got to be perfect, you got to do it better. You know, you're a sophisticated company and people are moving, but we have international companies coming in front of us every month. So, you know, that's not an excuse. It's just got to work, and we expect that.
Yes, sir.
So again, hopefully we're getting our mind right, as Cool Hand Luke said once upon a time, and we won't have any of these issues going forward. You know, I had minor questions, but I think in terms of where I am today, I don't think it's necessary to drill down that deeply. Again, Mr. Wilkins, I think you're, you know, eminently qualified, you know, in the roles that you're seeking with us today. I support you, but most of these conversations and comments today have been about the company itself and the compliance, and in your role. Just assure us that, you know, I think you've already done it, but it's smack dab in the middle of your world and to-do list every day when you show up for work. Is that correct?
100%. Compliance is something we take very seriously.
Okay. And, you know, during the Gaming Control Board meeting, it was discussed that you'll be back in front of us in October for another item. Is that?
Yes, sir.
Can you just explain to me, so the activities that are going on right now with the Gaming Control Board, you know, we'll have a new report and things, so we'll have an update in October about corporate compliance issues?
Yes, sir. For the record, there is the application of the U.S. Chief Technology Officer and the Director of Engineering for the company Evoke will be on the agenda in October for consideration, at which time Ms. Bird has been asked to appear. She is the Director of U.S. Compliance.
Good.
Yes, sir.
And that gave me comfort looking at this application today because I know Ms. Bird would be with it. She's on the East Coast, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. And I would make a note for the record that following the board meeting, she did send an email to Agent Thompson, who is the head agent with respect to the applicant in October, noting the fact that she understood that she had been requested to appear and acknowledging that she would appear.
Excellent. And speaking of the Chief Technology Officer, just with being a global company and the vulnerabilities thereof, cybersecurity issues and things, Mr. Wilkins, is that something that comes under your wheelhouse as well? So does the CTO go straight to the CEO?
The CTO reports to the CEO, but I don't know whether it's reached the media in the US, but Marks and Spencer is one of our biggest retailers, shut their online business for 8 to 10 weeks. And you can imagine the cost of that.
Yep.
And, you know, we are every day fighting attacks, and our CTO is an absolute past master at it. And he came from Flutter, and he is as good as it gets. And I'm very glad that he is, because it's a very serious matter for us.
And can you discuss the leverage on Evoque's balance sheet a little bit? I think it might be considered a little high, but could you just talk about the leverage of your company right now?
Sure. So the reason the leverage is high is because 888 purchased William Hill and effectively did it using debt. The leverage at the middle of the year last year, so the middle of 2024, was 6.7. We've subsequently grown EBITDA extremely strongly. So half on EBITDA growth was 44%. As a result of that, we've brought leverage down to 5.7 at the end of 2024 and 5.0 at half year. And I'm fully expecting it to be well below 5 by the end of the year. That's quite high for a public company. I mean, I'm used to working in private equity businesses which have that kind of level of leverage. In terms of liquidity, which is the all important thing, you know, we have access, or I have access today, right now, to over 200 million pounds worth of liquidity. And that figure I expect to go up over the course of the second half of the year.
And what facility is that liquidity in?
So I've got 130 million of cash, and then I got 70 million RCF undrawn.
Okay. And you trade off the London Stock Exchange, I believe?
Correct.
And Gibraltar is the domicile for most of the assets of the company?
Yeah, correct.
All right. Again, I thank you for letting us wander full circle on these questions when, you know, we're also speaking about you today. So again, your background, I think, is impeccable. It's fascinating, actually, you know, where you've been. So I think they're quite fortunate to have you. But, you know, again, this commission, this Gaming Control Board, can't speak for either, but I'll speak for Krolicki. You know, there's an expectation that, you know, any ruffles we've had in the past, we won't have going forward. That's your obligation. I think you know that. And I just, again, appreciate all that you will bring to this company. And one last light comment. I know you attended Oxford. I had a daughter who I don't think studied there very much. She punted in the water all the time. What are your punting skills at Oxford?
I can actually punt. It is quite a difficult skill, and I often see people paddling around actually having fallen in from punting. But I used to coach tennis during the summer holiday, and as part of the coaching, we used to take our clients punting. So I had to learn how to punt up and down the river.
Well,
I can just about punt.
Good for you. I think my daughter spent more time learning to punt than spending time in, was it Magdalene, I think her college was. Which college did you attend?
I was at Balliol.
Good for you. Well,
Magdalen's just around the corner.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I hope to see you in person at one of these future opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Silver, do you have any?
Just a comment, and you know, your experience is impeccable. Everything you've done, it's amazing. So the only comment I made is I'm really glad your company got somebody like Ms. Rushton involved in this, because I could see where everything turned once she got involved. To read how, I'm just going to dovetail on what the other commissioner said, which is it was really surprising to read Evoke's attitude towards our agents. I've never read anything like this. It's not good. But once Ms. Rushton got involved, you can really see the turnaround, and she is the consummate professional. I've known her over 30 years. She's an amazing, one of the best attorneys. So you can just see how everything has turned around and all of the information and the agents and what they've recommended after she got involved. So I'm really glad, and I hope that you stay on top of this company, because it was a little disturbing to read what we read before you got involved. So thank you, Ms. Rushton, for what you did here, because it does make a big difference in my mind going forward with Evoke.
Thank you. And if I could just make one more comment, Chair, and I think it's important, and I was authorized by Supervisor Crowley to say this, that he informed my clients earlier this week that the board's concerns have in large part been alleviated, and that the processes in place specifically to compliance are being implemented and appear to be well-designed and well-implemented. Thereafter, he complimented Ms. Byrd and her team for being very open and cooperative. I hope that that gives the commission a level of comfort, the fact that the admonishments that were made at the board were well taken and received, and that the company certainly understands, and moving forward, there will not be these issues.
I appreciate that, because certainly her attitude wasn't like that with the agents before. So, I mean, what we read was just really disturbing, is what I would say, especially with her. So anyway, I'm glad to see it turned around, because she would have had a lot of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or comments? I don't have anything additional. I think my colleagues have addressed many of the salient points. So I guess now would be the time, if there's no additional questions or comments, for any of you to make a motion that you deem appropriate.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to approve non-restricted item number 8 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and recommended for approval by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we are going to take a brief recess for restroom purposes and the court reporter to get a break. So if we could reconvene at 11:52. Thank you. Stem. Okay, we're back on the record. And I believe we are back on video as well. Thank you. Madam Secretary, non-restricted number 9 was withdrawn at the board meeting. I guess I should have asked, are we on with the court report? Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to check that. If you could, since non-restricted number 9 was withdrawn at the board meeting, could you please read into the record non-restricted number 10?
Non-restricted number 10 are the applications of Boomers Sportsbook LLC doing business as Boomers Sportsbook, doing business as Casino Fandango Racebook and Sports Pool, doing business at Casino Fandango for a non-restricted gaming license, racebook and sports pool only, and for licensure to conduct off-track pari-mutuel race and sports wagering. It is also the application of Casino Fandango LLC doing business as Casino Fandango to receive a percentage of gaming revenue from the racebook and sports pool, including off-track and pari-mutuel race and sports wagering, operated by Boomers Sportsbook doing business as Casino Fandango Racebook and Sports Pool. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval with conditions as will be noted on the disposition.
And Madam Chair, I believe Mr. Scott Scherer is counsel to the applicant and maybe in Carson City today.
I believe he is in Carson.
All right, so then I would just like to make my standard disclosure regarding Mr. Scherer, and I'll just incorporate by reference by statement made with non-restricted item number 4.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Madam Secretary. My name is Joe Asher, and I'm the President and CEO of Boomers Sportsbook. With me today in Las Vegas is Gina Cervone, our Vice President of Legal and Compliance, and Dave Grohlman, our Senior Vice President of Sportsbook and Customer Support Operations. You met them both at the Carson City meeting. Mr. Scheer is in Carson City today, along with Matt Wetzel for Casino Fandango and the Casino Fandango's counsel, Kelsey Benu. Boomers and Casino Fandango have agreed that Boomers will operate a race and sports book at the property, which of course is located in Carson City. If you approve our application, we plan to open the book on September the 1st, a few days in advance of the season opener between the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The application is straightforward and similar to the applications that were approved last month for Ellis Island and Casino Valley Verde. We will operate a manned sports book as well as 2 kiosks in the location that is currently occupied by William Hill. The Fandango has just completed a significant renovation, and we're excited to enter the Carson City market at such a nice location. I'd also like to spend just a minute or two to give you a quick report on our launch and where we are about 3 weeks into it. We opened smoothly and right on time in Elko on August the 1st, and Ellis Island and Casino Valley Verde on August the 4th. I'm really proud of our team for getting us open as planned and with our apps in both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store on day 1. We're offering an attractive sign-up offer for mobile customers. We match a deposit of up to $250 with a corresponding amount of bonus bets. Customers are responding to it, and I'm happy with the number of accounts and first-time deposits thus far, especially considering that we're just starting the advertising as the football season approaches. At the July board meeting, Judge Assad asked whether we might offer -105 on some NFL games. He was thinking along the same lines that we were, but we wanted to go a bit further. So on Monday, we announced that we are offering -105 on every NFL game during the regular season. We think that this will be very attractive to customers and give them a compelling reason to sign up for a Boomers mobile account. We know that we have to give people a reason to go to one of our locations to sign up. And I think the $250 sign-up offer and the -105 on NFL sides gives customers 2 reasons to do so. We have 3 additional applications now pending with the board, so I look forward to being able to provide another update in the near future, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Heidi, thank you. So I will open it up to my colleagues. Questions or comments? Oops, excuse me, I keep hitting it today.
Mr. Asher, good, still morning. Good morning. It's a pleasure to see you. You're getting to be a pretty regular face around here, so good on you. Fandango's a wonderful property. I appreciate what you're trying to do and certainly the timing. And this is an accommodation. I appreciate what the Gaming Control Board did earlier today. I didn't see the meeting. My apologies, but I've certainly read the paperwork that has come along with it. But just to, if Mr. Asher, you can just clarify. So totally get that you want to be prepared for the season. There was a timing issues, I believe, with the Caesars folks, and you didn't want to have a window of lost opportunity. But can you just talk about the expediting of this item for us today?
Sure, happy to do so, Commissioner. I touched on this at the control board hearing this morning, and then sort of X through it because of the time of some of the earlier matters. But what happened was when we reached an agreement with the Fandango to operate the sportsbook. They were then still are operating on a month-to-month lease with William Hill, meaning that either party could cancel on a month's notice. DC Graham, who's a senior executive for Olympia Gaming, which owns the Fandango, decided that as a professional courtesy, instead of the required 1 month notice, he was going to give 2 months notice of the notice of termination. There were a couple of phone calls back and forth between Fandango and William Hill, and then the next day, William Hill sent a notice of termination on 1 month's notice. You know, it's kind of like, you can't break up with me, I'm going to break up with you first. And the import of that would have been no sports book at the Fandango for the first month of the football season. And when Mr. Graham told me about the situation, I spoke with Scott, and he came up with the idea to ask for the special meeting. It's the first time I think I've ever asked for a special meeting. I sort of hate asking for any special accommodations, and understanding that the board staff had to finish up the work they were doing and then, you know, come in early this morning. So it's an application that was not made lightly, but I'm very appreciative of the board's willingness to entertain it.
Good. And I think that's just a wonderful relationship. The regulators are, in doing their job thoroughly, or again, trying to assist the industry when we can. We want you to succeed. Well, you've really made a splash. Your entry, all your successes, and seems to be on time, and and fully deployed, and app stores, so good on you. But I'm perfectly comfortable with your application. I will support it, and I just want to appreciate the work of Senior Agent Burke and the others at the Gaming Control Board who made light speed and doing their job thoroughly, but having it prepared and expedited this morning so we could hear it now. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Solis Rainey.
I didn't have any questions with respect to the application. I wanted to congratulate you on getting yourself up and running so quickly. And I think this is a win-win, for everybody. So I am happy to support the application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Silver.
Well, being born in Philadelphia, I think that probably besides the Super Bowl, that Thursday night is going to be like the biggest night of my life. So I can see why you want to get this through for that. There is no doubt in my mind that's going to be like the biggest night. So I just want to congratulate you as well. And it's too bad I'm not going back and forth to Carson like I used to, because I would have found that and checked out, the sports thing and watched the game there maybe. So anyway, good luck with everything. And it looks like you're up and running in Ellis Island, Valley Verde, and good luck with it.
Thank you.
Echoing the comments on my colleagues, it's exciting, and congratulations on moving with lightning speed to get up and on this, and we also would applaud the agents and the board the same. We always appreciate seeing the hard work and commitment that they make every day to make our jobs easy. So with that said, does anyone have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'm happy to move for approval of non-restricted item number 10 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye. And aye, there are none opposed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so Madam Secretary, that brings us, I believe, to the restricted items held out for discussion. We have one item held out. If you could please read in restricted number 2.
Restricted number 2 is the application of Muddy Mutts LLC for a transfer of interest as noted on the agenda, and the application of Jessica Gamble for licensure as a member and manager as noted on the agenda. The recommendation of the Gaming Control Board is for approval.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for being here today. If you would like to introduce yourselves, I have hit this microphone many times today. It's like a record, so apologize, I keep doing that. But if you would like to introduce yourselves, we'd appreciate it.
I'm Jessica Gamble. I'm here for my gaming application today. This is my husband.
Yep. Ben Rudnitsky. I currently have the gaming license and she's joining me, hopefully.
We have the materials from the investigation, the information that's been provided. So if you have any other affirmative comments you wish to make, otherwise I assume you understand that any one of my colleagues or myself would just be asking you questions. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
Good morning. Thank
Good
you for
morning.
being here and thank you for your patience.
Thank
It's
you.
I always feel bad for the restricted because you have to wait so long and your matters are generally shorter. I had a question with respect to the key employee. You said a person has submitted an application or is going to submit an application.
Yes, we submitted an application in August of 2022.
Okay. All right, great. And how'd you get into this business?
I know, right? We were just looking for a business to buy, a local business. My husband is a physician, but he's also very entrepreneurial, has lots of businesses here. And this laundromat came up for sale. And so we contacted the business broker and looked into it, looked very profitable. And they said, well, you have to apply for a gaming license. And Ben did. And once it was approved, then the sale was approved in 2016.
Do you spend any time managing it?
Yeah. Definitely mostly over the phone. We have a really good manager, Nora Manzo. And then we always pop in there, not only to do our dry cleaning, but to pick up all the mail and just check on everything, make sure everything's running smoothly.
And the business is located on Northeastern?
Yes, and we used to live very close to there, so it was much more convenient until 2020 when we moved to near Summerlin.
That's tough. That's a tough ride. Well, good. No, I'm happy to support it. I'm glad that you're getting into the business as well with him on officially. I'm sure you've been helping all along. So I don't have any other questions and I'm happy to support your application.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Krolicki?
Thank you, Chair Tagliani. Welcome. Good afternoon. I think this is a record where this is the second laundry related item we've discussed today. So good. I have no issues. The Gaming Control Board, discussed your journey with advisory services, we'll call them, and I understand that, you've done everything you can to make it right and to be in front of the Gaming Control Board and with us today. So I appreciate that. So I won't put you back through. Your vocation, or at least was, you're a nurse?
I'm a registered nurse, yes.
And you still?
I'm still licensed in the state of Nevada, but I haven't practiced since 2022. I resigned and opened a foundation, and that's what I do now.
Good for you. And I think I heard you used to work with Celine Dion.
Yes. Yeah.
Fascinating. All good.
Yeah.
And sir, you're a physician?
Yeah, I'm a nephrologist, which is kidneys.
Good for you. All right. Now, I'm happy to support the application today. Again, you had to wiggle through some things, and we all do to start up businesses, but wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Commissioner Silver, anything?
You all, I echo, my colleagues and everything. I mean, you're obviously more than suitable. I just had some questions out of just sheer curiosity.
Okay.
Just sheer curiosity, because nothing you did was wrong.
Okay.
I was curious about the Vicky Greco situation, because we certainly know as judges what she did, which is a major fraud on the court, what she did. She was convicted of multiple felonies and ultimately disbarred. So my question was, what did she say, and how? I know you said you were looking on the internet, but like, how did you find her, and what did she actually say to you in assisting you with this gaming forms?
Yeah. So initially I wanted to work with Dave Etter, who had helped my husband to get his
Who?
gaming.
Dave? I'm sorry.
Dave Etter. He had
Okay.
helped my husband to get the license, but we couldn't contact him. His email didn't work and his phone number didn't work. So when I just Googled someone to assist, she came up top of the search. Her office was right down the street. So I went and met with her, and she said, yes, I do this all the time. This is what I do for a living. Very familiar. I can help you every step of the way. It's one flat fee. And I assumed she was an attorney based on
Did
her.
she, I mean, did she say she was? No.
I can't recall that she did.
I mean, because these are, but you were looking, when you came in there, you said, I'm looking for legal advice or to
don't-
help me. I guess that's what I want to kind of know.
Right. Yeah.
If she's practicing law without a license. Is what-
Right.
Because I know how she was practicing law, and that was fraudulently. So now that she's not practicing law and she has somebody like you, an honest consumer with no idea of her background, to come in and to say, I'll help you with these gaming forms in front of the board.
Yes.
Because this is all NRS, which is our statutes, law and regulations. I'll help you with that. I was just wanting to know how she conveyed that.
Right. And I've thought back to it as soon as I discovered, because I Googled her again, maybe she was slow to reply. There was some reason why I thought, let me search a little deeper. And I saw that she had been disbarred. I thought, oh my goodness. And then I thought back, I don't recall her ever representing herself as an attorney.
Just helping you with forms.
But I certainly assumed she was, based on her website and our meetings. And she said that she had done this a million times. She was very familiar with the process, that it was very complicated, but she could help with everything. Looking back, I did need assistance. I want to make sure everything's done correctly, but it was mostly just answer every box, put NA if you can't remember, it doesn't apply, be honest, use blue ink, get it notarized. So luckily she didn't give me any advice outside of how to fill out the forms.
And you obviously paid her for that.
Yes, there's a $3,000, I believe, flat fee up front.
It's interesting. Maybe the Attorney General can look into practicing without a license because of her background.
Yeah.
And how
absolutely.
she came off to a consumer as a lawyer. So,
If I could also,
Yeah.
one thing she did mention when she came back from the meeting was that she implied she had really good relationships with the gaming board, and that was kind of an in.
Yeah, she said, I know people down there and I know what
she
I'm
knows
doing.
us already. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about that for you.
I'm sorry too.
So thanks for letting me know that. I was
Of
just
course,
curious.
of course,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also have a question that has nothing to do with anything, but it's just a curiosity because I'm familiar with the Clark County Medical Society,
Oh.
and I saw what is the Alliance? Is that just the same thing as, and nobody uses that part of the name, or is it something else?
The Alliance is for spouses of
Oh, okay.
physicians.
Okay.
So you have
That
to
makes
either
sense.
be a physician or be the spouse of a physician to be a member of the Clark County Medical Society Alliance.
How are you not part of the Alliance?
It's fun.
I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, so
Good to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Used to have a different name.
No, I've never changed my name. Oh, did they have a different name? I mean, they call it
It's been a long
CCMSA.
time. It's been a long time when I was in
Yeah,
college.
yeah.
But my friend's mom was in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun. And we raise money that stays here in Southern Nevada for medical causes. So it's great.
I guess you gotta keep them with you.
I know.
All right, well, thank you very much. Back to the matter at hand. Does anyone have a motion unless you have any additional questions or comments? Okay,
Madam Chair, I move for approval of restricted item number 2 as read into the record by Madam Secretary and is recommended by the Gaming Control Board.
any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you. We appreciate your patience and being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, Madam Secretary, that brings us to our next agenda item. If you could please read that into the record.
Next for your consideration are 3 gaming employee registration appeals. The first item is James Hoffman, case number 24LG00065.
You, Mr. Hoffman? Okay, is that a yes?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I just need to tell you that because you don't see a court reporter here, but there is a court reporter taking down everything that's said, so we need, an audible answer. Before we start, I always, you just happen to be the first of the day, but I always take the time to explain the process and, excuse me, let you know how this matter is going to proceed. First of all, you'll be given an opportunity to make a preliminary statement. I think that when you made your request for the commission to hear your case, you made some representations in that request that I need to clarify for you. We are bound by the record before the hearing officer. We will not take new evidence in this case.
Yeah, I understand. I didn't understand that at first, but then once
Okay.
they sent out the letter, then it said that, so I
Okay.
understand.
Well, and that's just the process and the way it works. It's like if you had a case in the court system and then you went for an appeal before the Supreme Court, they wouldn't start taking new evidence, right? They're the reviewing entity. And so in that way, this is similar to that. So you can make a statement and you can highlight things in the record that you think are support your position. And you can point to things in the record. Obviously we have the transcript of the hearing. We have the paperwork that got you to the hearing.
Right.
We have any and all things that were signed by you. We even have proof of a mailing of the notice of the decision. So we have all that. All you have to do is let us know what in that record you think supports your position. After you make a preliminary statement, excuse me, that will be the opportunity for my colleagues to ask any questions they may have of you in light of what you have to say or in light of the record. Then when the question and answer session is over, we give you the opportunity to make any summary statement you might like to make in light of what you've been asked and heard and all that. And then at that point, there will be a motion. Someone will make a motion. We will discuss the motion and we will vote on the motion. That is not a participatory event for you. That is a decision process, right? Unless, of course, number 25. Sorry. Sorry. I've literally done that a million times. Once it's when you're Italian and you speak with your hands, that's when that happens. So
That's why I'm keeping mine down.
yeah. And so at that time, if someone asks a question of you during the deliberation and discussion of the vote, you can obviously answer the question. So that's the process. Before we start, do you have any questions?
Understood.
Okay, perfect. So would you like to make a preliminary statement?
I just want to start by saying I was wrong. That was a mistake. But I didn't see, at the time, I didn't see it as in doing anything wrong. I, before I started working for William Hill, I was at another casino as a slot attendant. And everyone was making bets on, like, the workers were making bets even back then. I started there in 2019. It's the first time that I had ever worked in a casino. And I had never even made bets before that. And when I got there, everyone was making bets, and it didn't seem like it was anything that was an issue. And then like I would even make bets when I was, not working for William Hill. I'd make bets with the workers in the casinos or in the sports books. I would actually make those bets with them. So in my mind, there wasn't anything wrong. Then I started to work for William Hill, and it was still the same thing. And on top of that, even management was okay with it and even encouraged it at one point. I can't enter it into evidence, but I actually have a text message from my district manager at the time. I'm sorry, my coworker at the time has the text message, and it was actually saying, did you guys do well tonight, or did you make any good bets? So in my mind, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I just was doing what everyone else was doing, and I didn't think it was anything wrong. I understand it was wrong now, and it won't happen again. I would like the opportunity to have my gaming license back so I can begin to work again in that field. I lost 2 jobs that I really liked and that I did very well because of the same thing. Sorry about that. That's one for me. But my whole point is I did wrong. I understand that. I just want an opportunity to rectify it.
Okay, I appreciate that. At this time, do any of my colleagues have any questions for Mr. Hoffman or comments?
Mr. Hoffman, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
What have you learned from this experience?
Pay more attention to detail, I guess. I shouldn't have done it, but again, I didn't realize it was anything wrong. But that's something I should have looked closer at, and I will in the future.
Okay. And I know there was in the transcript, it indicated, you had signed documents basically explaining the policy and the regulation.
Yeah, and the truth of that is I didn't, when I was I filled out like 15 forms. It was like 7 or 8 in the morning. I was just, okay, whatever. And I was just signing it because I was, I don't plan on doing anything wrong. So I didn't think about that. I just signed them. So.
Well, that's an important lesson.
Yes, it is. And that's what I'm saying.
Any kind of job.
Attention to
take.
detail is what
Right.
I've learned, I think, the most out of this.
And I appreciate that. I mean, obviously, you want to be really careful that you understand what it is that you're signing so it doesn't
Right.
come back
Won't happen again.
to bite you. Those are the only questions I had. I mean, I wanted to hear what you thought you'd learn. I do appreciate your forthrightness and taking responsibility. I don't have anything further.
Mr. Krolicki, do you have anything?
No, Mr. Hoffman, welcome. Thank you for being in front of us today and going through this process with us. Certainly have great sympathy for your situation, but I know this doesn't help, but ignorance of the law, doesn't shield you from complying with it and being aware of it. And
I understand.
I think to quote you, you didn't plan on doing anything wrong. You just signed up. You were excited to start a new job. And your attitude and contrition here and throughout the process, it's important. It's been recommended that we sustain the decision to continue to make you cool your heels and not be in the industry. Some of these things are fresh, so there's always timeouts for these kind of things. But I'll just look forward to hearing the rest of the conversation with my colleagues. But again, for somebody who's in the doghouse, so to speak, everything you've done while in it has been helpful to your cause.
Commissioner Silver?
Thank you. like my colleagues, we appreciate you coming here. It takes a lot of guts to come up here and say I was wrong in front of this body, you know, so I
Thank you.
give you a lot of kudos for having that kind of, you know, inner fortitude to come in here and want to work, like you want to work. We're just in a weird position because of all things, it's a gaming violation. So it's not even like on some of ours, you know, they do things outside, you know, and it's difficult because we hear a lot of people say, oh, I didn't know everybody in the casino is doing it. You're not the first, by the way, that we've heard this, you know. Oh yeah, the other dealers were doing this. Oh yeah, you know, it was totally the atmosphere. But like Commissioner Corlicky was saying, it's like speeding. Well, everybody else was speeding, or well, I don't know. I don't know the posted speed limit. Unfortunately, when you are a gaming employee, you know, despite the whatever you sign, you're supposed to know all those rules. It's just one of those things. So it's just a difficult position for us when somebody nice like you who wants to work, wants to do a good job, comes before us. You know, we are sympathetic because we're humans and we feel bad for you. But having said that, we are the body that is supposed to make sure that the law is upheld. And the way that we generally, if we were gonna reverse a ruling of a hearing master, or I think that's, yeah, hearing examiner, you know, there has to be a really specific reason why, like the hearing examiner was wrong about something, maybe facts or law. And that's just not the case here. So I do appreciate you coming in here though.
Thank you.
So does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Hoffman? Do you have anything else you'd wish to say before I ask if one of my colleagues has a motion?
Now, like I said, I just want to try to rectify it. So I could even like probation or anything like that. You know, I was just a little ignorant to the situation. You know, I know that as a slot attendant, you know, you see people, you see workers gambling on their breaks. You see, you know, and it all seemed, yeah, apparently they're allowed. I've been seeing it for the whole time. She works in a casino still, and she gets to do it on her break. So it was just like the gambling just didn't seem like a big deal. I understand I should have had more attention to detail, and it was my mistake. I just wish I could go back in time and not do it. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so that brings us to the part of this hearing where a motion can be made or should be made by one or more of our commission members. So I would ask if any of my fellow commissioners have a motion that they wish to make.
Before a motion is made, we have a haunted microphone. At least I didn't knock my microphone. You know, it's not in front of us today, but probably the more concerning information I've heard throughout this is how many other people seem to do this activity, and perhaps your colleagues. And again, we don't have evidence that says that. I find your comments might have merit, but I would hope that that activity is not common, and if it is, maybe we have some compliance issues, and we need to re-educate some of the folks in the industry here. But at the same time, part of our job today is to make sure people aren't doing what you're in front of us today for. There are consequences to actions. So, that may or may not be helpful to you, but just, for the record and how I look at this, this isn't just about you, Mr. Hoffman. It's about all your colleagues or people who are doing things incorrectly or who don't know that it's incorrect or don't care and will proceed. our job is to balance actions and consequences, not just to an individual, but to an industry. So it's in that context that I'll be making a consideration today.
I do want to add that I was the only person that had to pay for all of this, not because I was caught doing it, because nobody was trying to catch anybody. I was told on by another employee that had an issue with me, and I didn't even know they were doing it too, but I wasn't looking to tell on anybody. So like, I didn't have a specific day or time for the surveillance to look at. And HR knew that others were doing it. Honestly, the same exact moment that I was doing it, another coworker was doing it, and that coworker did not get fired or talked to or anything because they were only going after me. That was it. They were right next to me gambling, and they did not get anything. They didn't even get talked to about it because in my opinion, they like the fact that we're gambling, so we give them money. It's the same thing with when you go to on your break. If you go to sit down at a Keno machine, you're giving them money. So again, I was the only one in this entire. Actually, my coworker got fired with me. Other than us,
I was gonna say, you're leaving out Ms. Chrysler, right?
yes.
The one who spoke on your behalf and the one that paid out according to the report. You have the report, right? The 5-page report?
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't just you.
But it was us together is what I mean. And
Sure.
before and after, it's still been going on. I'm still saying it. It's because they're not looking for that. I just got told on. And it was, that's where I just feel like, wow, I'm the only one out of everyone and everyone was doing it. And this last year has been extremely difficult for me. I had 2 quick jobs, so my resume does not look good. And it was really hard for me to find a job. I finally found one, and we were talking about Domino's earlier. The only job I could find was delivering pizza. My whole, I got put in debt over this. I had to use my credit cards to pay bills, to pay rent. I'm still in debt. And all of my savings is everything just because of this. And I know I did wrong. I'm not going to refute that. It's just like, it's just hard being the only one. That's all.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to ask my colleagues if any of them have a motion. Okay. So does anyone have a motion, or do we have more additional questions or comments?
I'm happy to make a motion if nobody else wants to. Okay. I would move to reverse the Nevada Gaming Control Board's objection to Mr. Hoffman's registration as a gaming employee on the condition that he stay out of trouble for the next 2 years, or if you want to call that on a 2-year limitation. I understand, the regulatory violation, to me, it's serious. He does seem to understand that. I think, it's something, unfortunately, the casinos do have weird policies about who can gamble and who can't. Some of them say you can gamble on breaks as long as you're not in uniform. Some say, you can gamble in uniform before your shift or after your shift. So regardless, I understand that, gambling happens. I am concerned if gambling is happening by race and sportsbook employees at the book that they're working on, because that's directly contrary. And that's something that I would hope, enforcement is looking into, since that was mentioned in their investigative materials. But with respect to Mr. Hoffman, I feel that, he has a generally, this is the only blemish. I didn't see any other arrests.
Nothing else.
He took responsibility for it. Bullhead is a really, really tough market for casinos to get good employees. And if he is a good employee, I don't believe one regulatory violation, should keep him from the workforce, as long as, we have a way to tether him to see if he stays out of trouble for the next couple of years.
Well, just to be clear, we're not keeping you from the workforce. We're keeping you from having a
I
gaming
understand.
job. as a result of the reporting and the surveillance and the repeated actions while being noticed when you sign your paperwork, that you can't do that at your job, whether anybody else is doing it or not, is akin, in my humble opinion, to what Commissioner Silver said about speeding. We can sit here all day and talk about everything that everybody else did wrong, but you're the one here before us with the violations on video. And it's kind of hard to say you didn't do it because you're on video doing it. So I appreciate you accepting responsibility, but it was kind of tough not to. That being said, I won't support the motion and I'm going to vote against it. So I don't know about anybody else. I don't know if we want to just call for a vote or you have commentary to make first.
Yeah, I just don't see, I'm not in favor of that motion. What I've already stated.
This isn't about, I believe you'll be a phenomenal employee when you go back into the gaming industry, if that's what you choose to do. I've already talked about sending messages, and we've had a lot of that conversation today. Actions have consequences. You're betting offshore. You just got to know these things. And is it fair? I'm not sure. And then, I'm feeling for you. But we can't just, what's the message being sent if there are no consequences today? I do hope enforcement looks at this and understands this, but I hope to shout, I see you very quickly back here. We might have new evidence, but the one piece of the conclusion that is one of the most important to me when I look at these things is the recency. How long ago was this? And again, I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to see you get financially burdened additionally. I understand that, but our job is about licensing, and we just can't turn our head. So with sadness, I'm going to support. I will be against the motion, but I hope to see you soon, and I hope you get from here to there, and I will support for the future.
Thank you for that. What's my next step then?
Well, I have to call for a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. And those opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right. At this time, I move to sustain the Nevada Gaming Control Board's objection to Mr. Hoffman's registration as a gaming employee. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Had to get through the machinations of the vote. You said, I'm sorry, could you repeat what you said?
Oh, I just said thank you to Ms. Rainey.
You can come back within a year, I believe.
It's a year from today.
A year from today.
Yeah, you can just go through the same process and request a hearing.
There is a FAQ sheet in the back of the room that walks you through what you can do from here.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you please read in our next item?
The second gaming employee registration appeal item is Dylan Franklin, case number 25LV00042.
So the record should reflect there's no one present in Carson City and there's no one present here. Have we heard from this gentleman today by any chance? Did you get a chance to check your email? Maybe he or did we get any messages?
I have checked my emails. I do not have any messages from Mr. Franks. He was notified of this meeting via mail on a letter sent out May 30th. No response was received to the letter, but the letter also was not returned to sender, so it made it there.
Are we talking, so just so we're, Mr. Franklin?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay, so without a request for some communication of some kind, I don't see grounds to do anything other than hear this matter and proceed. So unless there's some objection by any of my colleagues, I would ask, have we all reviewed the record that was provided to us of all the materials, including the transcript? Yes. Okay, and so it would appear that we are, this matter is ripe to go forward, and we have not heard from Mr. Franklin in any way indicating that he had any kind of emergency or could not appear, and it appears he was noticed properly of this hearing via email and U.S. Postal Service. So with that said, and that's according to a certificate of service by Judy Norton. So with that said, unless you wish to have discussion, I think that the record would support that this particular gentleman has a specific conviction that caused the conclusion of the hearing examiner as detailed in the reporting, and that is specifically related to an attempt battery with substantial bodily harm, a gross misdemeanor. And as a result of that conviction, we have this hearing before us today. And so I think there's a lot of information about remorse and potential defenses related to self-defense and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, there's no question that there's a conviction for a gross misdemeanor violent offense. So if anyone wishes to make a motion at this time.
I would move. I've moved to sustain the Nevada Gaming Control Board's objection to Mr. Franklin's registration as a gaming employee based on the seriousness of the conviction and the recency and the fact that he's still in constructive custody.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you. Madam Secretary, could you please read in our next item?
The third gaming employee registration appeal is Antoinette Lewis, case number 24LG00065.
Okay, the record should reflect that Ms. Lewis was, Ms. Lewis, if you'll recall, was here previously, and she took the opportunity and invitation to consult with her counsel before proceeding before us. And as a result of that, she communicated with our staff that she would request an additional extension. Just to make a record, I think she did ask for a year, and I declined to entertain that, and instead, because it's already been now, we passed this from 2 months ago. And so it's, this is all about reasonableness, right? And so, and treating similarly situated circumstances the same. And I will never be in a position where I'm continuing these things for a year for anyone. It just is not a reasonable, not that she's unreasonable, just that is not a reasonable way to conduct business in these matters. However, in light of her circumstances, it seemed appropriate to give her another extension. And so we advised her she has two choices. She can come back in October, which would be another 60 days, to have a hearing if she so chooses, or we would go forward without her, or she can withdraw her request for an appeal. So she has time to deliberate on that. And so for that reason, this matter will be placed on the October Commission agenda. Okay, so Madam, I just want to make a record of that. Madam Secretary, if you could please go to our next agenda item.
Next for your consideration is one gaming employee registration request for reconsideration. That item is Mark Franks, case number 21LG01563.
Okay, thank you. The record should reflect that there appears to be no one in Carson City, and there is no one here present. Mr. Franks is not present here in Las Vegas. Have we received any communication from Mr. Franks, either via email or telephone message or calls or anything that we were aware of this morning or at all?
I have not heard from Mr. Franks today. His letter was sent to him on June 9th, and he did email me on June 22nd to let me know that he would be here, and I have not heard from him since.
Okay. Well, at this time, it doesn't appear that there's any cause, never mind good cause, to continue this for hearing. So unless one of my colleagues has a different view, I would be inclined to ask that you all agree to proceed. And if you're comfortable doing that, then I would I would ask, is there anyone who wasn't able to review the entire record that was provided to us, including the hearing transcript? And if we've all reviewed it, then I would ask if anyone has a motion.
Madam Chair, I would move to sustain the objection. Wait, let me see. I would move to sustain the Nevada Gaming Control Board's objection to the registration as a gaming employee, or just deny reconsideration, whatever the proper motion is for that. Is that right? Deny?
And accept the hearing officer's
Oh, I'm sorry.
recommendation
I
at this
didn't say
point.
it
I
right.
think
Sorry. Okay.
I-
Did I not say?
it's on.
I-
Because because of the 5 years, I think it would be appropriate to accept the hearing officer's recommendation.
Okay, that
to
wasn't the
sustain.
language they gave us, so I'll accept it talked about sustaining here, so I was just following the dialogue.
Got
But we agree then, I'd move to accept the recommendation by the hearing master. Right? 5-year limitation.
We have a motion before us. My comment would be, it can be really hard to have so many arrests and some convictions that you can't keep them straight. But in my view, this is not an intellectually heavy lift. Let's just stick with the one DUI conviction that wasn't that long ago that wasn't listed. We don't even have to go through some of the others. And so I would focus on that and say, look, if you look at this in its totality, I think as, those of us who are lawyers particularly, we have an inclination to give the benefit of the doubt when there's been no conviction. That's one thing. However, when you have multiple arrests, several convictions, some are disclosed, some are not, this is really important stuff. And you can't just mamsy-pamsy fill out these forms and leave things off that are important. We rely on the honesty of the employees, and we always applaud them when they are honest and come before us. And in this circumstance, this is not, there's no reason that I can see why we wouldn't, or why I wouldn't, vote in support of the motion. So with that said, does anybody else have any questions, comments? Okay, then I'll call for a vote on the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And there are none opposed. Thank you very much. No, that was, of course, is there anyone else who's assaulted the microphone 150 times today? Apologize. Next on our agenda are the administrative reports. If we could.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners and Madam Secretary, providing the update for you all. We are expecting for our September 2025 Nevada Gaming Control Board meeting for it to be a one-day meeting on Wednesday, September 10th, beginning at 9 a.m. We currently have 12 non-restricted agenda items scheduled. The restricted agenda will start that afternoon at 2 p.m. and we currently have 13 items scheduled. We did have that gaming salon workshop yesterday, so my understanding is that might be on your agenda as well.
It's been approved for the agenda, so.
Wonderful. So that will be on there too. That's
Okay.
all I have for you as an update. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from the Attorney General's office today?
No, nothing today. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, if we could close with our last agenda item, public comments.
This item is placed on the agenda to give the public an opportunity to comment on gaming-related matters.
All right, I will first go to Carson City. It does not appear that there is anyone present there to make public comment. Nor is there anyone present here in Las Vegas to make public comment. So that will close our public comment section, and this concludes the Nevada Gaming Commission meeting for the month of August. We are adjourned.